A sellout crowd is on hand at County Stadium in Milwaukee, where today an NFC Central Division showdown takes place between the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers. Both teams tied for second place behind the Minnesota Vikings. And as we begin the second half of the season, each of these teams beginning to think about the wild card berth. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody. Alongside the future Hall of Famer Anthony Munoz, I'm Tom Brenneman. And well, Anthony, to no one's surprise, whenever the Detroit Lions are playing football, the main attraction is Barry Sanders.
Well, when you watch him run, you notice his speed, his balance, not to mention his exceptional lateral quickness. With that, he makes a lot of guys miss. And with that style of running, here's a guy that's touched the ball 561 times, 2 years without a fumble.
That is almost unbelievable. Well, the Green Bay Packers, they do know a thing or two about defense. In fact, this season, Anthony, ranked #1 in the entire NFL.
Not only #1 in the NFL, but #2 against the run. Talking to Coach Holmgren, he says, in order to tackle Barry Sanders, a lot of times you plant your feet, you bend over, you tackle a guy. Not with Barry Sanders. You keep your feet moving and hope you have some help from your teammates.
I think a lot of teams have tried that strategy, though, this season. We'll see how it goes today. The Lions, however, cannot live by Barry Sanders alone. They really need to get that passing game started, and Scott Mitchell has struggled this season.
Well, he's the first to admit, yes, I'm struggling. I'm seeing a lot of situations I'm not used to seeing because I am a starter now. I'm not a backup any longer. And he's saying my mind sees those things, but my body's not in a position to make the plays. Yes, I'm forcing the ball. I have to be patient.
All right, the Stars are out here along the shores of Lake Michigan. Barry Sanders in the Lions, Sterling Sharp in the Packers. The kickoff is right around the corner after this message from your local Fox station. A lovely fall afternoon in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. A sellout crowd on hand at County Stadium. 51 degrees. The wind could be a factor, gusting anywhere from 15 to 20 miles an hour. The Packers and the Lions getting together here in the NFC Central Division. Both teams at 4-4 and chasing Minnesota. The Packers have won the toss. Corey Harris, number 30, and Marcus Wilson, number 29, will receive. The head man for the Lions, Wayne Fonts. He's taken Central Division titles for this team 2 of the last 3 years. And Mike Holmgren, meanwhile, 9-7 in each of his first 2 years, trying to get this Packer team rolling. Some big games coming up. Showdowns with Buffalo and Dallas on the horizon. We're underway in Milwaukee. This is Corey Harris. Out across at 20. And he reaches a 35 before being dragged down by number 26, Eric Lynch, along with Scott Kowalkowski. Brett Favre, in this his 4th season out of Southern Mississippi. He's cut way back on the interceptions from a year ago. Up front, Guy McIntyre returned a week ago when they rushed for 223 yards against Chicago. And, of course, Reggie Cobb, Edgar Bennett in the backfield. The All-Pro Sterling Sharp alongside Robert Brooks. Ed West is the Packer tight end. 1st and 10, ball at the 35. Edgar Bennett out close to the 40, a pickup of nearly 4. It'll bring up 2nd down at 6.
As we look at the Lion defense here, led by this defensive front, Kelvin Pritchett, number 94, Dan Owens starting for Mark Spindler and Robert Forshea over at the other defensive end. The linebackers, a good crew, led by Mike Johnson and Chris Spillman in the middle, Thomas and Scroggins on the outside. The secondary, Benny Blades, Willie Clay, Milton Mack starting for Ryan McNeil, and Robert Massey on the other corner.
2nd down, far to the air, and it's dropped by Bennett. Been a big problem with this Green Bay offense this season, dropped passes.
Well, you just have to talk to them, and that's all they talk about. We have opportunities, but we cannot afford to drop passes, make mistakes, and no different today. Big ball game for both teams. They cannot afford, if you're watching a tennis match, to have the unforced errors. If the guy's wide open, make the catch and get the yardage.
4 receivers into the game for Mike Holmgren's team. You see they've struggled on their first possession each and every game this season. 3rd and 6. Barr fires, right through the hands of Sterling Sharp. And Sharp has dropped a number of passes this season.
Well, once again, you look at their type of offense, and Brett Favre, he's coming along. Mike Holmgren says this guy is making strides, and when you have plays like that where the receivers drop the ball, it doesn't help Brett Favre that much as he's trying to get into a rhythm, trying to get into a groove.
Hendrick, first-year pro out of Notre Dame, will punt it away to Mel Gray. Told you Gray has taken a number of hard blows to the head, and he underwent a number of tests this week, and he's doing fine. Oh, did he take a hit there? Nearly lost the football. Corey Harris down on the coverage, delivered the blow. A 51-yard punt for Hendrick.
Well, I tell you, as you mentioned, he has been hit quite a bit. They've gone through all the tests this week to make sure that he's okay. Right there, he shields his eyes from the sun. It's a long punt, but he doesn't fair catch it, and Harris makes a nice hit on Mel Gray.
So here we go, this vaunted Green Bay defense against Barry Sanders and the high-charged rushing offense of the Lions. Sanders tried to cut it back, no room to run. Bryce Pop on the stop. Scott Mitchell, a first-year starter, backed up Dan Marino in Miami for 4 years. Told you in the pregame show, for the first time this season, he is wearing contact lenses up front. None of the five has missed a snap this season, led by the All-Pro Lomas Brown. You know about Barry Sanders on pace to rush for 2,000 yards. The trio of Moore, Perriman, and Matthews. The tight end is Ron Hall. Mitchell fires to the near side, and the reception is made by Herman Moore. Out to the 33 and a first down for Detroit.
Well, one of the things when you have Barry Sanders back there that you can do is give him little fakes now and then. And you know everybody's keying in on Barry Sanders right here. Scott Mitchell makes a nice little fake, and he just turns with the blitz in his face, makes the throw to Herman Moore, who comes back, makes the catch. And again, when you have number 84, Herman Moore, out there, he can make the catch, not only going to the ground, but he's an excellent vertical jumper, and he can get up there and make a catch.
Tom Beer, a reserve linebacker, comes into the game from the fullback spot, and Sanders nowhere to run.
The Packer defense that will try to contain Barry Sanders will be Sean Jones and Reggie White at the ends, Steve McMichael and John Yurkovich at the tackles. The linebackers led by Bryce Pulp, number 95, Fred Strickland, and George Kuntz. Defensive secondary, the corners Terrell Buckley and Doug Evans, George Teague at the free safety, and Leroy Butler at the strong safety.
Sanders lost a yard. It brings up second down and 11. Mitchell far side overthrows Aubrey Matthews. Well, you know, last season they used Chris Spielman a great deal, leading the way for Barry Sanders, coming in at the fullback position, and now they've turned it over to Tom Beer, a backup linebacker, due to injuries to Derek Moore and Eric Lynch.
Well, here's a guy, rookie linebacker, who probably is just looking for somewhere to play. He knows with all these excellent linebackers that he might not get into the game. So it might have been a case where Coach Spons goes to the locker room and he raises his hand. He's changed his number. He's going to be back there in that backfield.
Four receivers set. Our first look at the rookie Johnny Morton out of USC, number 87. Third and 11, and the whistles blow. Flags come down. Early movement. It may have been the right guard, Doug Weidel.
Well, he might have set a little quick.
Ball start. Number 67 on the offense prior to this snap. That's a 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Tom, in the opening, we talked about this Packer defense. Of course, when I look at their defense, I think about their pass rush. You have Reggie White, Sean Jones, Bryce Pulp, who comes down. He puts his hand down as a rushing defensive end. And what you might see from this Packer defense, and what the Lions think they might do, is try to crowd the line of scrimmage. Therefore, make them force the Lions to throw the ball. So far, right now, they've been doing it basically with their front four.
Third down, 16 for Detroit. They need to get to the 42. Good protection. Mitchell short on the throw to Herman Moore. So Detroit will have to punt it away.
Well, he had Johnny Morton about the 35-yard line, had Herman Moore about the 41, and the ball fell right in between the two. So it was hard to tell who he was throwing it to, but he didn't get it to who he might have been thinking that he wanted to throw it to. It just fell right between the two.
Been an outstanding season for the former Houston Oiler, Greg Montgomery. Robert Brooks, we saw him return one for a touchdown against the Rams at Lambeau Field 3 weeks ago. Very good kick. Sends Brooks back to the 16. Stops, starts, and he's out to the 24. A 58-yard punt. Van Malone made the stop. So 11:30 to play in the opening quarter. No score in this NFC Central battle. The Lions and the Packers. City Hall, downtown Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The Packers and the Lions scoreless here in the first quarter. And well, Anthony Munoz, I think you lent that gentleman that cheesehead, did you not, just before the kickoff?
We met a lot of them. He might have been one of them. Tom, one of the things I noticed first drive, the Lions were in a four-man front with Tracy Scroggins down in the three-point.
And it looks as though they come out that way again. The handoff goes to Reggie Cobb. He's across the 25, a very short pickup.
When you talk about the Lion defense, the first thing that comes to your mind is they're known as a three defensive line front. But like I mentioned, that first series, number 97, Tracy Scroggins, was down as a defensive end. Then he was removed, and Pat Swilling also came in and wasn't standing up as a linebacker. He was down. As Wayne Fonz told us, Pat Swilling will be playing more and more.
Swilling lost his starting job. He's in there right now. He lost it to Scroggins a couple of weeks ago. There you see the former All-Pro. Favre took a shot on the safety blitz from Benny Blades. A lot of B's in there.
A lot of B's. And Benny Blades, you talk to Coach Fonz about Benny Blades, and he talks about 2 years ago when he was an All-Pro, and then after he broke his ankle, he'd not been the same player, but you see him coming right up the middle, number 36 on the safety blitz. Clean shot on Brett Favre. Once again, Coach Fonz says, I know he's not the same player that he was 2 years ago, and Benny Blades knows that he's not the player, but they both feel that he can get back to where he was, All-Pro form 2 years ago.
Brett Favre certainly has taken more than his fair share of hits this season. A 3rd and 14. Bennett will be tackled well short of the first down. Greg Jeffries, number 25, the second-year pro out of Virginia, made the stop. So 3 and out for the Packers.
Well, they have to establish some rhythm. They've been trying to run the ball. They've been trying to dump it off. But, you know, you can't afford to let a safety come right up the middle of the line of scrimmage and hit your quarterback. Somehow those offensive linemen in working with the back have to pick up the middle of that line of scrimmage. Let them come off the corners, but they can't come free up the middle.
Henrik again to punt it away. Short kick. Mel Gray at the 27. Broken tackle. He's out close to midfield, and he crosses over the midfield stripe into Detroit. 44-yard punt, 23-yard return for the NFL's all-time leader, Mel Gray. Tonight on Fox, Joe Pesci is a New York lawyer trying to win a murder case. He'll be in the outrageous comedy My Cousin Vinny, the Fox Tuesday night movie at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Scoreless game in Milwaukee, 1st and 10 for the Lions. In Packer territory at the 49. Barry Sanders. Not much running room against this terrific Packer defense.
Well, just before that carry there, he had 2 carries, no yards. But that doesn't matter with the Barry Sanders. You have to keep feeding them the ball. A lot of offenses, if their back carries the ball 2, 3, 4 times and doesn't get in the yards, they have a tendency to go away from the guy. But with this Lion offense, you cannot afford to go away from Barry Sanders because he does get stronger as the game goes on. And they've tried to mix it up. Little play action pass, run Barry Sanders. They got to keep feeding Barry.
3 receivers into the game for the Lions. And Mitchell to throw. Way off the mark, trying to hit Sanders coming out of the backfield. Barry Sanders, of course, trying to become just the 3rd rusher in NFL history to eclipse the 2,000 yards rushing mark in a season. Eric Dickerson, of course, for the Rams back in '84, and the Juice, O.J. Simpson, back with Buffalo.
Well, here we go. The Detroit Lions, 147.1 per game, and Barry Sanders, 129 of those yards. That is an amazing stat. I mean, that just goes to show you how important Barry Sanders is for this offense.
Flags come down. There were bodies moving. Of course, the Packers and Sean Jones pointing at the guys in the white jerseys, and the Lions are saying, no, it's the guys in the green. The offense gets charged.
And Sean Jones, I think, was right on that one. Those defensive players are usually right once in a while.
Just every now and then you're conceding that?
I'm giving it up. I mean, they do get it right once in a while.
Fair enough. 3rd and 15 for Detroit. Mitchell throws on the seat of his pants. Reception made by Herman Moore. He needed to get just to the other side of the 40, closer to the 39. They'll probably have to measure for the first down.
Well, not a real good throw, but Herman Moore makes a nice catch as he's going to the turf. Ball thrown a little bit low, a little bit behind him, but Herman Moore makes a nice catch, and it's close to that first down as they bring the chains out to measure it.
Well, Moore is on pace to set career highs in receptions and yards, and he's that much short. They go for it?
I say they go for it. Then again, I'm not the head coach.
Well,
and I happen to pick it right this time, one of the few.
They're bringing in the big bodies. Well, you've been contemplating a return back to the sideline as a head coach. We've talked a lot about that this week, right?
Well, I'll tell you that. I'd give it a shot. I mean, might last a week or two, but
see how it goes. All right, 4th and inches. Derek Moore, number 31, is checked in, along with the extra tight end, Rodney Holman, and the backup linebacker, number 48, Tom Beer.
Well, they have it. I think they have it as Gilbert Brown, 93, makes contact. I don't think they have to go for it.
Nope. First down, Detroit.
Encroachment.
Right in the middle of the line of scrimmage right here, you'll see one of the big guys coming right across just a little soon. Gilbert Brown, who has been playing really well for this Packer defense. Not a good way to start out this ball game and give the Lions a first down to keep this drive going.
Gilbert Brown picked up on waivers from Minnesota. He's been a big surprise to this Green Bay defense. All right, 1st and 10 for Detroit. Mitchell to the corner, leaping, and did he get it? No, they're saying incomplete. Brett Perriman climbing into the air. The coverage by number 33, Doug Evans.
Now, there was no question about that throw there. That was a super throw by Scott Mitchell, and Brett Perriman just about comes down with the ball. You see him go back, he takes the quick set, and then he throws, lays it up there nicely, and it appears that he has a catch. But Doug Evans strips the ball. Right here you see, makes a catch, comes down, and then all of a sudden it's stripped away by Doug Evans.
Of course, the Lions caught a couple of breaks from the officials in their overtime win over the Giants last week, both with Herman Moore making receptions. Mitchell trying to dump it off out of the backfield, and it's incomplete to Tom Beer. Well, not only asking Beer to block, now they're asking him to catch balls.
Well, this guy has to be excited. I mean, a backup linebacker. He's in there primarily because of his blocking abilities. They change his number. They get him in there. Now they're throwing the ball to him. I mean, he has to be thrilled with this.
Thrilled or confused, I'm not sure which. It'll bring
true.
Up 3rd and 10. No score here in the opening quarter. Mitchell from the shotgun. Being chased. Throws, and it's out of bounds. He was able to get it away. The pressure applied by Bryce Paup. What a game Paup had in the victory Monday night over Chicago. A couple of interceptions, a sack, and a forced fumble.
Well, one of the things as we talked to Scott Mitchell yesterday, he mentioned he has to condition himself to throw the ball away. A nice spin move, an inside move by Bryce Pulp, who grabs his jersey, and right here Mitchell knows that he's in the grass, so he's just going to fire the ball out of bounds, and that's one of the things that he said he has to do. Be patient, and when he doesn't see a man open, throw it away. Acknowledge the defense is 1-1.
Montgomery angling to the corner, but it's well into the end zone, and the Packers will bring it out to their own 20. So Detroit missing a golden chance after the outstanding punt return by Mel Gray. Still no score in Milwaukee. This game is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcaster of the use of this telecast without the expressed written consent of the Green Bay Packers and the National Football League is prohibited. No score, 1st and 10 for Brett Favre and Green Bay at their own 20. Edgar Bennett looking for a hole, and Chris Spielman filled it to drag him down. Boy, Spielman, the former Lombardi winner out of Ohio State, and he is just such a terrific player. He's led the team in tackles each of the last 6 seasons.
It was funny talking to Coach Fonz, and all of a sudden he comes to Chris Spielman. He says, with this guy, he would want to wear that throwback uniform every week because that's the type of player he is. He's the guy that could have played back in the 50s, the 60s, and also plays the game extremely well right now. He will be all over the field today.
Loss of 1, 2nd down 11. Favre down the middle, through the hands of the tight end Ed West, and then nearly intercepted by Benny Blades. In fact, he should have had the interception.
Well, it was right in his hands, came out. Ed West got between Chris Spielman, the linebacker, and then Benny Blades was right back there. And right here you see it coming right up the seam there. Spielman, number 54, and there comes the ball, hits him right off the face mask. And it might have been the sun that was in his eyes because that ball hit him right in the face mask. And right here you see Brett Favre, a little upset about that, but he got out of that one without an interception. He can thank the sun for that one, I think.
Yeah. All right, 3rd down and 10. Morgan in motion. Favre across the middle, complete, good enough for a 1st down. He finds Anthony Morgan out close to the 40. So a Green Bay 1st down as Favre completes his 2nd pass of the afternoon.
Well, here's one of the guys that Brett Favre said we need to get the ball to him a little more. You see him right here. There he is, Anthony Morgan, coming right across the middle, making the catch. Gets a few more yards, and then he goes down. But as Brett Favre told us, not only Robert Brooks, but also Anthony Morgan, we have to get these two guys the ball a little more during the game.
1st and 10, and Favre throwing. Ball batted in and out of the hands of a Detroit defender, Tracy Scroggins.
Right there, you see how upset he is. That's that defensive lineman's dream, is to catch the football on an interception and hopefully run towards the other. You see the ball right here. You see, who is that? Robert Porcher, number 91, batting the ball down. And right here, there's the ball. You got to catch it. Oh, he doesn't catch it, and he's upset. Right here, you see him go to the ground. He starts pounding his hands on the ground. So I should have had that one, but that was close to being intercepted by Tracy Scroggins.
Go to the ground, Edgar Bennett. Short gain. Mentioned the Packers against the Bears ran for 223 yards on Monday night, their best since, well, all the way back on December 1st of '85 in a game against Tampa Bay. And it appears as though, as you pointed out earlier, with the 4-man front by the Detroit defense, they're expecting the Packers to run a bit more.
Well, when you see the defense bring a couple more guys up towards the line of scrimmage, that's basically what they're saying. We're going to force you to pass the ball. You're not going to run on us. And so far right now, the Packers have not been able to run the ball effectively. They've been trying to put it up.
3rd and 9. Play clock down to 1. Favre just did get it off. Quick hitter. Again, Anthony Morgan well short of the 1st down, and was tackle made by Robert Massey. So again, Green Bay will have to punt. It's been a disappointing season, hasn't it, Anthony, as far as the offense is concerned with the Packers?
It really has, especially when you're sitting as an offensive player and you see that your defense is ranked #1 in the league. At times you have the feeling, well, we're not carrying our end of the load, and you might put a little more pressure on yourself. You might press a little more trying to make big plays, trying to get things accomplished.
Mel Gray, a terrific return of 23 yards a short while ago. Beautiful punt. Let's see if they can cover it. You betcha. All the way down inside the 5. 50-yard boot by Hendrick. No score from Milwaukee still in the opening quarter.
You're watching Fox NFL Sunday.
Yes, defense. They've had a few good ones in Green Bay.
Ray Nitschke, boy, I tell you, how would you like to be sitting there as an offensive lineman looking at his eyes?
Detroit starts from its own 5. Sanders. And there is the Green Bay defense. Reggie White along with Sean Jones and Bryce Pop waiting.
Again, going back, we talked about the Packer offense. Of course, we talked about their defense, the #1 defense in the NFL. Right here, 12.9 points per game, and they are #2 against the run, something that the Lions have not been able to do as we go about 4 minutes left in this first quarter.
Barry Sanders, 4 carries, -1 yard rushing. Intercepted. Bryce Pop, touchdown Packers. Pop, his 3rd interception in the last game and a quarter.
Coming off that super game Monday night against the Bears. Scott Mitchell goes back, quick set, tries to throw it. But right there, Bryce Pop makes the catch, has enough football sense to get up, not having any offensive player around him, and he scampers into the end zone for a touchdown. 10 yards for Bryce Pop.
It's rare that Bryce Pop would intercept a pass against anyone else but Eric Kramer. All 3 of his career INTs before that one against the former Lion and now current Bear. Jackie adds the extra point. So a terrific punt by Hendrick. They covered it well. The Lions starting deep in their own territory, and Pop picks it up for 6. And an early 7-0 Packer lead. Boy, Pop is having a terrific year.
Oh, he's the kind of guy, as we talked to him this weekend, he said, hey, before Reggie and Sean Jones got here, I was being double teamed and it was getting a little frustrated. As you see right here against the Bears. Monday night in the slot, picking off Eric Kramer right here. Makes another one. And he was saying guys were starting to double team me, and he was getting a little frustrated because they stood up, they started taking notice of who I was. But now with Reggie and Sean and all the other guys, they're freeing me back up. And right here, you can see off to another super start this afternoon against the Detroit Lions.
He might take that honor back-to-back weeks.
The way he's playing so far. I mean, not only against the pass, he makes that interception, but he's been playing well on the run so far, stopping Barry Sanders, and then he's putting a little pressure. So really, all parts of his game are clicking right now. He's in a rhythm.
And who would have figured that Bryce Pop would have been a starter this season? In fact, he won the job after Wayne Simmons had a knee injury in the preseason, and oh, are they glad about that in Packer country. And he'll certainly remember that one for the rest of his years. Mel Gray and Derek Moore waiting back on the kickoff from Jackie. Derek Moore near side. Losses the 20. Ball comes loose, and the Packers have it. Number 37 making the recovery, Keyshawn Johnson. So another Lion turnover. The hit was made by Marcus Wilson.
You don't need this early in a big ball game. Your offense gives up an interception for a touchdown. The opening or the next kickoff, they come down, they jar the ball loose, and they recover it. Boy, you hate to give the home team the momentum as Keyshawn Johnson comes out with the ball right here, number 37. What you have to do after they pick one off, run for a touchdown, or the offense runs, you want to shut them up by coming out and doing well. But right here you see Derek Moore taking it up. The big hit right there, and the ball comes loose. And it's Keyshawn Johnson, number 37, jumping on it right away.
So 1st and 10 for the Packers at the 29. On the ground they go. Reggie Cobb tried to break it back outside. He's tripped up by Mike Johnson.
Again, this Lion defense has to come out right now and stop the Packers. Cannot afford to give them another touchdown. If they can get away with just giving them 3 points, that would be good. But they want to come out and force the Packers to punt the ball or attempt the field goal, not give them any points, and try to settle that momentum down and not allow them to build off that big turnover on that kickoff.
Well, with a play clock winding down, Brett Favre asked for timeout. His team a 7-0 lead after the interception returned for a touchdown by Bryce Paup. And after the fumble on the ensuing kickoff, the Packers are in big-time business against Wayne Font's Lions. Well, next week, join us at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific for the hottest pregame show on TV. Then, except in Boston and Green Bay, it's a Fox NFL doubleheader when Chicago takes on Miami, followed at 4 Eastern for the game of the year when the Dallas Cowboys take on the 49ers. Check local listings for the games in your area. How do you see that one shaping up, the Niners and the Cowboys?
Well, heck, I was thinking about going down, seeing Jeff George throw to Andre Rison and down in New Orleans. But I think that Dallas game, the 49er game, the Niners, the team that I know at the beginning of the season, picked to beat the Cowboys at the end there and go to the Super Bowl. So I think the 49ers are getting healthy again. At one point, they lost just about their whole offensive line, but I think they're getting back into it. Getting those guys back healthy, and I think it's going to be an excellent matchup.
Yeah, in fact, Harris Barton returned today, and you saw a few moments ago the Niners' early 10-0 lead at RFK against the Redskins. Here it's 7-0 Packers. See the time left in the opening quarter, 3:06. A second down coming up for Green Bay. And now another timeout is called. And again, Green Bay. And the quarterback, Brett Favre, having to go to the sideline, and he's having a few words with Mike Holmgren over there. What in the world's going on?
Boy, that is rare to see, that you call one timeout, come out to your team, and then all of a sudden have to call another timeout. You would think that whatever the confusion was the first time, that they would have gotten it cleared up and not had to call a second timeout.
But we understand that the officials made the incorrect signal. The first timeout was taken by Detroit. So then the one right now by Brett Favre and the Packers. So each team has used a timeout, 2 remaining in a half. Now Mike Holmgren, many of course associate him in his former offensive coordinator days with the San Francisco 49ers. How far has he come from back in the early 70s, a head coach at San Francisco's Sacred Heart High School? They were ready to run him out of town with only 4 wins in 3 years. Swinging out to Sharp. And he's met immediately. Short gain down to the 25. Tackle made by Greg Jeffries.
Well, again, you look at this Detroit defense. They're putting the 4 guys down. You see them right here at the slot going. And Milton Mack comes on a blitz right there. And Favre reads it and throws it quickly to Sterling Sharp. Again, Detroit's bringing a lot of people up. They're blitzing, forcing Brett Favre to throw the ball quickly as he does right there to Sterling Sharp.
Sharp, his 46th reception of the season, and you see well behind his last 2 years when he set NFL record. 3rd and 7. They'll get the first down. Edgar Bennett close to the 15. Boy, what a valuable player Edgar Bennett is anywhere he plays.
Well, what the Packers are saying right now is that Chris Spillman plays the run extremely well, but we're going to put him one-on-one right here with as he comes out of the picture, one-on-one with Edgar Bennett. and he cannot stay with them on that play, so they complete the pass to him. But once again, smart on the Packers side of the ball. They're going to put their running back one-on-one with Chris Spillman.
1st and 10. Ball at the 17. Bennett cuts it back. Inside the 10, down to the 9.
Nice read by Edgar Bennett. Ken Rutgers had a block on Tracy Scroggins, taking him to the outside, and Scroggins trying to maintain that outside position, and Edgar Bennett makes a nice cut. Right here you see him right up the middle. Frank Winters making a nice block, and you see big number 75. He stays hooked on with Tracy Scroggins, so that gives the running back a chance to make a cut, and Edgar Bennett does a nice job of stretching it at the last second, taking it up, and he makes a nice play there.
2nd down and short. Not enough to get there. Carried by Reggie Cobb. Now, many believe that Cobb still has the tools to be a 1,000-yard rusher. Packers haven't had one of those since Turdell Middleton 15 years ago back in '78. It's been a while.
It really has, and I know the last time we did the Packers about 3 weeks ago, Reggie was off to a pretty slow start. He wasn't playing the way they thought he was supposed to play, or the way they wanted him to play after picking him up in the offseason. But talking to Coach Holmgren, he's saying he's coming along. He's playing better every week, and that's good for our offense.
Big play for the Detroit defense. 3rd and 6. Barr just had to dump it off. Boy, that's an odd call. Pressure by Broderick Thomas and Milton Mack.
Well, the smart thing about that, he did throw it away. He felt the pressure, as you said. He tried a little reverse to Sterling Sharp to start the play off with. When you have a guy of Sterling Sharp's caliber and you fake a run to him, you hope that it's going to suck a lot of the defenders his way. But right then, they had a blitz coming off that right side with Milton Mack and Broderick Thomas. Brett Favre didn't have a chance to throw that ball anywhere but down into the ground.
Ball spotted at the 20. Hendrick, the holder for Chris Jackie. A 30-yard field goal attempt. And it is good. So after the fumble, Green Bay able to cash in with 3 points, and with 22 seconds left in the opening quarter, it's a 10-0 Packer lead.
Well, Chris Jackie making the kick, but as we know, it starts off right here in the middle with the big guy snapping the ball, the holder putting it down, getting those laces away from the kicker, and then Chris Jackie making the kick. So a lot of times people look at the kicker and say, oh, he's either making it or not making it, but you have to take into consideration where it all begins. That's with the center snapping the ball, the holder putting it down, and then the kicker making sure he gets it through the uprights.
Well, Detroit needs to get something going offensively, don't they, Anthony?
Well, they really do, and we've seen they've come out. The Packers, again, have stopped the run. They've not allowed Barry Sanders so far to get going. So therefore, they're saying, we're going to stop your run. We're going to force you to pass the ball. And that's what they've done. The Lions have tried to pass the ball. But once again, Scott Mitchell, right here you see 4 rushes, -1 yard. Not a good start, but he will be around as the game goes on. You better believe that -1 is going to turn into some positive yardage. But one thing, getting back to Scott Mitchell, he's been throwing the ball. He hasn't been looking really sharp yet.
Received, and across the 25 is number 39 Van Malone, the rookie out of the University of Texas. That's where the Lions will put it in play. Barry Sanders has had a very quiet opening quarter. 4 rushes, -1 yard.
Again, you look at his game last week against the Giants. He ends up, having a tremendous ball game with the long run there at the end of the game.
Offside on the kicking team, number 82. That'll be a 5-yard penalty and a re-kick.
Again, not a fast start last week against the Giants, but as you see the end of the ball game, he has all kinds of yards. Again, you just can't. They can't stop him completely. Might be able to contain a guy like Barry Sanders, but you better believe, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, that -1 yard is going to turn into some positive yardage, and they're just going to have to keep feeding him the ball, keep giving it to him, because he will get some positive yardage for you.
You know, Sanders is trying to become the first back ever to rush for over 2,000 yards as a pro and a collegiate. People forget he still holds the NCAA record for most yards rushing back in '88 with Oklahoma State.
To receive the kick by Jackie.
So the Packers will have to kick it again after the offsides you heard a moment ago.
And again, Tom, you have to look at his last 5 games against the Packers. He's only gone over 100 yards one of the last 5 games against the Packers, the lowest being 42 yards. He's had a 38-yard game, a 75-yard game, an 85, and the one game he's gone over 114 yards. So the Packers have done a nice job defending Barry Sanders on the run.
So Jackie backs up 5 yards, kicks it away. And receiving at the 25 is Eric Lynn. He brings it out to the 35, and that's where the Lions will put it in play. Now this Green Bay defense thus far, as advertised, #1 in the NFL. Anthony mentioned 2nd against the rush, 6th against the pass.
And unlike that Detroit defense, the Packers have been doing a lot of it with just their front 4 guys and a little help from the linebackers, but they've been able to pressure the quarterback and stop Barry with the front 4.
First down, Mitchell, complete. And out across the 50 is Brett Perriman. That'll be the final play of the opening quarter. A quarter dominated by the Packers. The end of the first quarter, our score, Green Bay 10 and Detroit nothing. Turn back the clock in this rivalry to 1983. Eric Kippel's touchdown throw to Fred Scott tied it at 20, setting the stage for Eddie Murray. A game-winning field goal in OT. Detroit 23, Green Bay 20. The win propelled the Lions to their first division title in 26 years. They're hoping to generate some offense here as we begin the second quarter. Tom Brenneman, Anthony Munoz back in Milwaukee. A 10-0 Packer lead. Again, good field position for Scott Mitchell and the Lion offense. Completed pass to Sanders. And a good job of tackling there by number 95, Bryce Paul.
Well, getting back to a point I made after the fumbled kickoff by the Lions, it was up to their defense to stop the Packer offense and just give them just a field goal or no points at all, and that's exactly what they did. So they've gotten the ball back to the Lion offense, and now it's up to Scott Mitchell to be on target like he just was against Barry Sanders and complete some of those passes.
Sanders breaks it, cuts to the outside. He's across the 30, close to the 25. So the first big gain of the afternoon by Barry Sanders. Pushed out of bounds by George Teague. A 20-yard pickup for the man who wears that same number.
And once again, that -1 didn't stay there that long. And he takes it, nice little crease there, takes it back to the inside. But again, we talked about in the opening his ability to move quickly from side to side and the explosion he has getting through the hole. And all of a sudden he's faced one-on-one with the defensive back. Not a good position for a defensive back to be in.
First down and 10 at the Packer 28. Play action. Mitchell throws it, and it's intercepted. Inside the 5 by number 36, Leroy Butler. He's across the 20. Another mistake by Scott Mitchell.
Well, there's a guy that you have to give credit on that play because he did have Herman Moore open. That was big number 92, Reggie White. You see him coming off right there off the end. Oh, you see right here, Herman Moore wide open. A chance to get a touchdown. But one thing we didn't see was Reggie White putting a big hit on Scott Mitchell. Right here you see it. He doesn't have a chance to follow through. Interception, Green Bay.
First and 10 for Green Bay. Come to the near side on the handoff to Reggie Cobb. He's across the 20 out to the 23.
Well, let's take another look right here. First, you see Herman Moore, who gets open. Reggie White, nice inside move to put the pressure on Scott Mitchell and not allow him to hit, like I said, a wide open Mitchell right there. Reggie lowers the boom. Interception, Green Bay.
Well, we have an injury on the field. Number 51, Broderick Thomas, who is having an outstanding season for Detroit, is down. They're taking a look at him, and we'll hopefully have further information as to the nature of his injury when we return. The Packers are in front here in the second quarter, 10-0.
Well, as Broderick Thomas was walking off the field, he was holding his hip area. Right here, you see number 51, Broderick Thomas being hit by his teammate Mike Johnson, the other linebacker. He goes down. He's replaced by Antonio London.
Second down for the Packers, and they dump it off. Out of the backfield once again, Edgar Bennett, and he's across the 30 for a first down. Well, let's send it back for a McDonald's update and go to our Hollywood studios and James Brown.
Tom, the question is, how many weapons does San Francisco have? The answer, a lot, including Brent Jones' 69-yard pass reception from Steve Young. He takes it to pay dirt. 6 minutes left in the second quarter. Frisco on top of Washington, 10-0. Back to Tom.
All right, JB, thank you very much. That is the same count we have here, 10-0. Broderick Thomas back into the game. First and 10 for Favre in the pack. Blitz coming. Favre picked it up and completes the pass to Robert Brooks. Maybe a little audibilizing there by Favre at the line of scrimmage.
He saw that the Lions were bringing the blitz, bringing a few guys up to the line of scrimmage, therefore forcing him to take the quick drop, hit his wide receivers quickly. That's what the Lions are forcing Brett Favre to do. Change it up, make him think when he's under the center, and make him check off to other plays.
All right, our Aflac NFL trivia question. Who holds the NFL record for most points in a quarter? I think we know the answer to that. Favre across the middle to the tight end Ed West. Ball comes loose, and the Lions have it.
That's completion to West, fumble and recovered by the Lions.
It is Detroit football. Boy, West took a hit. Benny Blades makes a recovery. And so the first real break of the game for Detroit. Well, the answer to our Aflac NFL trivia question, Don Hudson, 29 points in one quarter. That's not too shabby.
I like those high tops.
Well, you actually wore a helmet similar to that when you broke in out of Southern Cal in your Cincinnati Bengal days.
I did have one bar on my helmet. Come on now. Give me a little credit.
All right, so the turnover, first and 10. And Sanders immediately met by Gilbert Brown. Number 93, the second-year pro out of Kansas.
Gilbert Brown, the anchor, as Mike Holmgren called him. Let's take a look at the Ed West pass, the fumble that was caused. Right here, you see Brett Favre going back on a quick set, makes a nice throw, and all of a sudden Ed West takes off. You see Chris Philman, number 54, coming in. Willie Clay coming in, making the hit that really jars the ball loose. And then Benny Blades recovers it for the Lions.
Mitchell completes the pass to the tight end Ron Hall, his first reception of the game. And it's a couple of yards short of a first down. Mitchell now 5 of 13, has already been intercepted twice.
Not a good stat. That's one of the things that he had trouble with last week in the first half, throwing 3 interceptions. And here he comes in this first half. He has 2 already. He has to eliminate those, make the throws, and just get into a rhythm. I mean, he's having plenty of time. Now it's up to him to find his guys.
4 wideout set on this 3rd and 2. And they give it to Sanders. First down and more. Across the 35, down to the 33. Doug Evans makes a tackle, and all of a sudden, Barry Sanders beginning to pile up the yards.
Well, now you have Barry Sanders who starts gaining that positive yardage. That's one of the things that I know myself. I didn't understand how Scott Mitchell can put so much pressure on himself to make the big plays when you have a guy like right here, number 20, he can take it outside or take it in the middle and get the big yardage. He still continues to put the pressure on himself to make the big plays, and you have a guy like Sanders in your backfield. And that's one of the things he said, I have to take the pressure off myself.
Sanders now, 7 carries, 28 yards. First and 10. We'll try to add to it. looks around, and he's able to maybe pick up a yard.
Thing about when Barry Sanders runs a football, you usually see 2 or 3 guys that have attempted to make the tackle, and they sit there on the ground as he changes direction. I see him going to the right side behind Dave Wydell and Reggie White right there. He said, I got him. No, I don't. He's laying there watching the end of that run by Barry Sanders.
Sean Jones and Fred Strickland finally able to bring him down. Is overthrown again, going to Tom Beard. Boy, this is certainly a surprise. Trying to get the ball to a guy who's a backup linebacker who played in the backfield for the first time last week against the Giants.
Well, when you have guys like Brett Perryman and Herman Moore and Ron Hall and Barry Sanders, it surprised me a lot that right here, maybe they're thinking we can fake them, think we're going to run the ball with him leading through, then try to complete one to him, but they've yet to do that.
3rd down and 10. Here they come. Mitchell throws, and it's nearly intercepted by Terrell Buckley. He was looking after feeling the heat from Sean Jones, and Mitchell is slow to get up. Where's he throwing this ball?
Well, once again, he has Herman Moore up in the top open, but the Packers coming with the blitz. Right here, Herman Moore takes it to the outside. The ball is 10, 12 yards downfield over the head of Herman Moore, almost picked off by the Packers. You know, right here he goes back and he feels the pressure, but he's kind of leaning backwards when he throws the ball. Maybe, I mean, he knows he's going to get hit with something like that when they're bringing the blitz. He has to throw the ball right here. Fred Schirmer, the defensive coordinator, really putting a lot of heat on Scott Mitchell.
51-yard attempt by Hansen. He's not booted one over 50 yards this season. Hit it pretty good. Off the bar, no good. Wow. He had plenty of distance. He hit it well. So Jason Hansen comes up empty, and the Lions are missing on numerous chances. They still trail 10-0.
Well, we looked at when Chris Jackie made his field goal. Right here, you see the Lions attempting to make a field goal. The ball set down nicely. Hansen goes through, makes a kick, and there's plenty of leg in that one. Might have cleared it by 10 yards, but it hits the upright, and no good. Right here, he looks at the ball. He's saying, okay, baby, get in there. Gives it a little squat there. Maybe that'll help the ball get through. No, missed it. Attack the ball.
Back to live action. Favre trying to get it to Sterling Sharp, and it was batted down by Milton Mack. Bring up a 2nd and 10 for Green Bay, leading 10-0 with 8:45 to play until halftime.
Well, again, you mentioned the name Milton Mack, who started at that cornerback position, has been in there putting pressure, as blitzing from the secondary. He starts for Ryan McNeil. Ryan McNeil, the last couple of weeks, has gone out before the ball game, and he's run to see if his ankle can make it through the game, but both weeks he's not been able to play.
Scott Mitchell is walking off the field. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. Coming out of the backfield is LaShawn Johnson, the rookie out of Northern Illinois.
Excuse me, Tom.
Anthony.
You mentioned the name LaShawn Johnson. Here's a guy that came in as a rookie. Early in the season, they wanted to get him into the flow of things, play him a little more. As we see Scott Mitchell walking off the field, going into the locker room. But the reason LaShawn Johnson is not playing a whole lot is because Reggie Cobb has been improving every week.
Dave Craig beginning to get loose over behind the Detroit bench. Favre on a 3rd and 7. Unable to get the first down. Mike Johnson making the tackle, and again they went to LaShawn Johnson. 3 and out for Green Bay.
Good job by the Lion defense, and as you mentioned, David Craig, who's been around for a long time, warming up, will probably come in for the Lions. David Craig in his 15th year, coming over from the Chiefs last year, or this year from the Chiefs. Here's a guy that's experienced, been around for a long time, and maybe that's the spark they need. I know last week Coach Fonz was close to pulling Scott Mitchell. Right here he has a chance to see what David Craig can do.
Beautiful punt by Hendrick. Gray will let it go. And it's into the end zone. Scott Mitchell, we understand, is going into the locker room to have his right wrist examined. And again, he is a left-handed quarterback.
That should not affect the way he throws the ball, but taking the snap from the center, he might feel a little pressure there. He probably has that right hand, and that's where the ball usually impact will hit the right hand as he has it up underneath the center. So that could hurt, but should not affect his throwing at all.
Dave Craig, you see, has passed for better than 30,000 yards in his career. Spent 12 seasons with Seattle. Coming over from Kansas City as a free agent. He's been to 3 Pro Bowls. So a very solid backup. And the ball comes loose. Sanders can't find it. Scramble for the football. McMichael had a hand on it for a minute. And they'll have to pull some bodies out of the pile.
Not a good way to enter a game and start off. As he turns to give the handoff to Barry Sanders, he runs into the lead back and causes a fumble. Barry tries to pick it up. He cannot pick it up, and the Packers recover it. So once again, you come in after an injury to your starting quarterback, and the first time you handle the ball, you lay it on the ground.
It has not been a pleasant first half for Wayne Fonts.
Right here you see 125 career fumbles for David Craig, an NFL record.
So the Packers have the football. George Kuntz, number 53, the man who came down on top of it.
Let's take a look at it right here. You see David Craig, number 17. You have the lead back who's going to lead through for Barry Sanders. But as he turns, Tom Beer with his shoulder catches David Craig, jars the ball loose, puts it on the ground, and now there's a scramble for it, and the Packers come up with it. Again, you take a backup linebacker, you put him at fullback. Things like that are going to happen.
4th turnover of the game for Detroit. And all 10 Packer points have followed turnovers, or a direct result thereof. Bennett cuts it back. Short pickup down to the 17. Robert Forshea on the tackle.
Well, after the last turnover, the Detroit Lion defense held the Packers to a field goal. They have to do that once again here. Called on to hold this good Packer offense with Brett Favre. They can't afford to give up a touchdown here. They're already down 10. They can't afford to be down even further.
Second down and 7. Favre to Bennett. To the 10. 5. Touchdown, Edgar Bennett. 4 Detroit turnovers, and so far 16 Green Bay points.
Well, the Packers go to a play that they enjoy running, and they're probably one of the best green teams in the league. And so far, with 6 minutes left in the first half, they hadn't run a screen. But right here, Brett Favre goes back, little fake to Reggie Cobb, then screens it out to Edgar Bennett, gets away from Mike Johnson, then makes a nice run. But again, here's a play that they enjoy running and that they do an excellent job running the play, and they execute it well.
Jackie tacks on the extra point. 17-0 Green Bay with 6:28 left to go until halftime. And Wayne Fonts is in search of some answers, because right now there certainly are many questions.
Well, you can't afford to have that many turnovers in a big game like this one. Both tied in their division, both need this big win, and all of a sudden they come out in this first half and they turn the ball over time after time after time. And now they're sitting here down 17. The game's not over. They still have a lot of football game to play, and they're only 3 scores down.
And we talked about the importance of this one, and we certainly heard those sentiments echoed by both coaches, Mike Holmgren, and in our visit last night with Wayne Fonts.
Not only the 4-4 record, but another stat there that is important is the 1-2 in their division. Detroit cannot afford to lose another division game.
Well, if you look in the grand scheme of things, the overall wild card picture right now, and certainly a second half of the season left to go, things clearly in favor of the Atlanta Falcons and the Green Bay Packers.
They sure are, and the Packers are starting to play well. I mean, they're only 4-4, but their defense is playing well enough to be 6-2, maybe even 7-1. And then you look at the Falcons, and they have a potent offense. They have a chance to win a few ball games, as you see right here. Green Bay 4-4 and Atlanta both right there 4-4. Like you mentioned, they're in good position.
Kickoff taken by Eric Lynch, and he's out across the 35. Well, the River Wild, Silkwood, Kramer versus Kramer, and now Meryl Streep takes on her most challenging role ever as Bart Simpson's girlfriend. Boy, now that's a real catch. And you can catch the next episode of The Simpsons, part of a full hour tonight at 8 Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. I'm sure the Munoz family will be tuned in for a new episode of The Simpsons later tonight.
I'm sorry I laughed, but has your buddy talked to you about that big deal?
Yeah, absolutely. Here we go. First and 10. Craig in relief of Scott Mitchell, who left to have his right wrist examined. There is Sanders. Escaped one tackler and then close to the 40 and out across the 40.
Well, Doug Mitchell, I'm sorry, I'll go back to that. Right here we see, of course, you have the four teams, the Cowboys, the 49ers, the Vikings, and the Eagles, who are looking really good, but then fighting it out. You have the Lions at 4-4, Green Bay at 4-4, Atlanta 4-4, the Bears 4-4. So as we mentioned, these two teams both in a very big game here this afternoon.
Flags come down, the whistle blows. On what would have been a second down and 9.
That's a 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Nothing going Detroit's way today. That one whistled against the 4-time Pro Bowler Lomas Brown.
As you mentioned, nothing going for them this first half. And again, getting back to last week's game. They had problems in the first half. Right before halftime, they had a nice drive to score a touchdown, came out in the second half and played well. That's what they need right now, is to sustain a drive and put some points on the board.
Second down and 13. Craig, his first throw. Or second throw, I'm sorry, and it's well short. Intended for Ron Hall.
Ron Hall, the assistant.
Well, the big story, turnovers, Anthony Munoz, and thus all 17 Packer points.
Well, 4 turnovers, 17 points. You have to give that Packer defense a lot of credit. See Reggie White, he's being double teamed. That doesn't matter. He just kind of shrugs them aside and gets right in there to put pressure on David Craig.
Third down and 13. And they hand it off. Sanders tripped up well short of the first down. Tackle made again by Gilbert Brown.
Well, again, I referred to Gilbert Brown earlier as the anchor. Talking to Coach Holmgren, he said he's the type of guy you want to put him right there in the middle. Just anchor him down and let him clog up that middle and let the other guys make the plays. But he's been making the plays, and he has accepted that role of occupying 2-3 offensive linemen. But right here, he's making some good plays.
So Green Bay will get it back. Under 5 minutes to play in the first half, and should get very good field position. Terrible punt by Montgomery. It hits a Packer, and then Corey Harris able to dive on top of it at his own 37.
That was a very alert play by Corey Harris. He saw that it hit one of his teammates, and he jumped on the ball quickly and not allowed the Detroit Lions to recover the fumble. Actually, not a fumble, but it hit his own player. Right here you see it, number 24, Tim Houck. He's trying to block his man, but it hits him in the back of the leg, and right away, Corey Harris jumps on the ball. Very smart play on his part.
So first and 10 with 4:45 to go here in the opening half. Green Bay, a 17-0 lead. Edgar Bennett wrestled down by Benny Blades, and then a flag comes in. Maybe a face mask.
What happened, I think Benny Blades went around the head, maybe a face masking call. That's really the only thing I saw right this near sideline, and the flag came from the middle of the field. Benny Blades not real excited about that call, but he did go around the helmet right here. Benny Blades and Edgar Bennett, there he goes. He grabs the face mask. I mean, it's obvious right there. He did grab the face mask itself and yanked it.
And that's 15 big ones.
The official was right on top of that, made a nice call.
So the ball spotted now at the Detroit 44-yard line. By number 91, Robert Forshea. Maybe a yard. Bring up second and long.
I keep talking over and over about the position this Lion defense is being put in. No different than the last 2 or 3 times. Right here they sit with about just under 4 minutes left in this first half. And the Packers want to put some points on the board, but once again, their offense has not put them in a good position. All afternoon so far, they have been put in tough situations.
Great protection. Far. Hooking up with a tight end, Ed West, all the way down to the Lions' 24. Barb is hit on 11 of 17. That's a 20-yard pickup.
Well, the reason he was able to complete this pass, he had nice protection to begin with, felt a little pressure, so he kind of rolled out to his left, threw back across to Ed West. That was a heads-up play by Brett Favre to hit Ed West for a nice gain. But once again, his knowledge of knowing where to move when he felt the pressure, he kind of sifted to his left, and then he made the throw.
Number 24, Sharp. Far side, lost the football, but it flew out of bounds. Gain of about 8. Robert Massey on the coverage and shoved Sharp aside. A flag comes in. And another face mask call.
Boy, I tell you.
5-yard face mask penalty. Number 40 on the defense. We'll assess that from the end of the run at the first down.
First of all, they have the turnovers by their offense, leading to points. Now their defense starts to make the penalties. You see right here, you see Mike Johnson's feet. Or right there, he's not really excited about it, so he kind of stomps on that flag, showing his frustration.
First and 10 from the 11, far to the end zone, wide open. Robert Brooks, touchdown Packers. Favre to Brooks for the touchdown. And now it's 23-0 Green Bay. Wow.
Well, Brett Favre goes back and he sees Robert Brooks. No one around from the Lions secondary. There had to be a break in the coverage because he was out there all by himself.
So Jackie on for the extra point. And it's good. So with 2:30 left to go here in the opening half, Green Bay putting it all together for this 24-0 lead. And it may have looked, Anthony, as though a couple of Lions ran into one another and knocked each other down on that coverage.
Maybe a little confusion back there in their coverage, not knowing exactly what area to cover or who was on Robert Brooks. But whatever happened, Robert Brooks was wide open for the touchdown. Look at this, 15 of 21 for 138 yards, 2 touchdowns. One thing that Coach Holmgren has to be excited about is the Packers have made the Lions turn the ball over, but the key stat is they've converted and put points up on the board. Let's look at Brett Favre as he goes back to throw this ball to Robert Brooks. He gets back there and he looks so comfortable just sitting back there, making the throw. knowing that he has him wide open. Then all of a sudden, yes, touchdown. But he's shown the last couple times he's thrown the ball that he's comfortable back there. He feels a little pressure. He'll just move out and then dump it off. And so he's really poised back there. And again, getting back to talking to Brett Favre and Coach Holmgren this weekend, they both thought that they were going in the right direction with the offense.
Well, Favre certainly has cut down on the one real criticism of his play a year ago, and that was interception. You know, a year ago after 8 games, Favre had 11 TDs but 13 interceptions. Coming into the game today, 10 TDs, only 7 picked off. Milw breaks a tackle across midfield, one man to beat, and he is long gone. Touchdown, Milw, no penalty flags on the field. And for Milw, in his career, that is his 5th kickoff return touchdown. 91 yards.
You have to remember the weapons that this Lions team has. Not only Milw, but a Barry Sanders, how quickly they can turn things around. Right here, Milw takes it. Nice blocking up front. All of a sudden, the hole opens up, and he has number 31. Who is that? That's Derek Moore leading the way for him. And all of a sudden, Chris Jackie makes a last-ditch effort to bring him down. But Milw wants nothing of Chris Jackie, and he's in for the 91-yard touchdown.
Hansen on to try the extra point. So the Lions finally on the board. Montgomery the holder. 24-7, Green Bay in front.
Well, when you have as much talent as Milw running it back, it helps to have nice blocking, and that's what he gets right up front here. Derek Moore, big number 31, leading the way. You see Ty Halleck there chasing after making his block. And then you give him a crease, and then Milw is familiar with getting through those creases and taking it to the other end zone. He does that on this one, 91 yards for a touchdown.
And for Milw, who of course is the all-time leader in kick return yardage in NFL history. That is his 8th return for a touchdown. And the next record he'll try and break in terms of returns, whether it be for a kickoff or a punt return touchdown, Ollie Matson had 9. That's 8 for Milw. 5 on kickoffs, 3 returning punts. Oh, is he something?
Oh, as we mentioned earlier in the game, some of the hits he's taken on returning kickoffs, they actually had him go through a number of tests this week, MRI, CAT scans, just to make sure, because he did suffer concussion. They wanted to make sure that his mind or his brain, his neck, that everything was okay before they let him get back on the football field, just to put him at ease also, not only for the team and the physicians, but to put Milw at ease that there's nothing wrong with him, and he cleared all the tests. He goes out today and runs it back.
Yeah, I'd say that might be the biggest test he cleared right there. 91-yard kickoff return. So that might be the spark this Detroit team needs. Corey Harris, number 30, Marcus Wilson, 29, and it goes in between them. Harris picks it up, and he is immediately wrestled to the ground by number 31, Derek Moore. 2:03 left to go in the first half, and a 24-7 Packer lead.
Well, you wonder what these two guys are thinking. Corey Harris and you have Marcus Wilson sitting there, and one guy says you have it, and the other guy says no, you take it, and the ball hits right between them, and they got to jump on it in a hurry. There has to be some communication between the two.
Yeah, or else the communication starts with the coach when you get back to the sideline.
Oh, you better believe there's going to be some loud communication when they get to the sideline.
That'll take us to the 2-minute warning on the handoff to Edgar Bennett. Roderick Thomas, injured early in the game, there to make the tackle. 2 minutes left to play in the first half from Milwaukee. Packers 24, Lions 7.
When are you leaving for San Francisco? Oh, we don't have that game.
No, we don't. No.
Yeah, we don't have that one.
I think we were kind enough to give that one to Pat and John.
I got a little carried away. I thought we might have that game. I guess
you're really getting carried away.
Maybe Frisco in the offseason or something.
That might be it. Our chances are a lot better. First down, or rather second down and 11. Packers in front 24-7. And Barr going to the air. Ed West, the tight end, close to the first down. Needed to get to the 23, and it is good enough. Coming up on Dockers halftime, James and Terry will have all the scores and highlights. Plus, we'll look at the last month's best bone-crushing, bone-jarring, big-time hits in a new edition of Crunch Time. And then when we come back after halftime, it's going to be a real honor to be sitting next to two future Hall of Famers, not only Anthony Munoz, but the former great San Diego Charger, Kellen Winslow. Reggie Cobb out of the backfield.
Tom, maybe we can talk. I'm sorry. Maybe we can talk about what he's doing now. Then ask him about the hot game in Cincinnati in '82. I don't know. We might not talk about that one.
Oh, of course, of course.
What was it, about 59 below?
Oh,
I think Kellen came out with no sleeves.
He's still wincing in pain thinking about that. As Porsche is slow to get up, but will make his way off the field. A minute 10 left to go in the half. So we'll take a break. 24-7, Packers in front. We'll be right back. We're back at Milwaukee, a 24-7 Green Bay lead. And a minute 10 left to go up until halftime. Here comes a blitz. Barb able to get it away. Juggled. And then dropped by Edgar Bennett. They brought the safety blitz again. Benny Blades charging in on Brett Favre.
Tom, we saw Robert Porsche walk off the field after being banged up a little bit. Number 96, Shane Bonham, is now in at one of the defensive end positions.
Bonham, a rookie out of Tennessee, and he'll head back to the sideline. Favre had hit on 9 in a row until that incompletion to Edgar Bennett. 3rd down and 7. First down and more for LaShawn Johnson. He's out to the 40.
That hole opened up in a hurry for LaShawn Johnson right up the middle. You see right here LaShawn Johnson taking it up, and Guy McIntyre making the pull, but LaShawn Johnson takes it to the backside a little bit behind the block of Guy McIntyre. Boy, he hit that one in a hurry, and right there you saw the speed that the coaching staff and some of the players talk about.
LaShawn Johnson a season ago led the NCAA in rushing. He was a 3rd-round pick. Got a lot of playing time earlier on, Anthony, and then maybe Mike Holmgren thought he was trying to, hand over too much responsibility to this rookie, and they've taken him back a little bit. But now today, a couple of rushes and a big one right there.
Well, he keeps making runs like that. He'll be seeing more and more playing time.
Better believe that.
And it's nice to have two guys, LaShawn Johnson and a Reggie Cobb. You don't have to give it to one guy all the time and wear him down. They'll both be fresh. And if he, like I said, if he continues to make runs like that, very helpful for the Packer offense down the stretch.
Like the trio you had for a while there in Cincinnati with James Brooks, Ickey Woods, and Stanley Wilson.
Oh, that was fun to block for a trio like that. It made it a lot of fun to be an offensive lineman.
Favre on a 1st and 10. Far side, and he overshoots Reggie Cobb. 48 seconds left until halftime.
Fun little matchup to watch there. Broderick Thomas comes on a blitz, and I think it was number 32, Reggie Cobb, making the block on him. Former teammates down with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Excuse me, that was Edgar Bennett who blocked him. But anytime you see those running backs that are trying to block those linebackers, I know they're saying, get rid of that ball in a hurry. Right here you see him, Edgar Bennett blocking Broderick Thomas coming here. He stays in front of it, then all of a sudden, a little toss aside, but good balance by Edgar Bennett.
Favre on a 2nd and 10. Rolling out. Still looking downfield. Fires. Pass is caught by Cobb at the 38. Clock continues to run. Favre trying to get him set to the line of scrimmage and just spike the ball. Now under 30 seconds left. Benny Blades is down on the field with an injury. And now the clock stops. 26 seconds left. They may tack on a few more.
He appears to be in a lot of pain there. You're not sure if it's his arm or his shoulder. Let's take a look at Brett Favre and the nice job he did right here. He has Sterling Sharpe in front of him. Sterling was there open, but he saw Reggie Cobb a little further. Nice throw on the move, makes a completion. Right there, Benny Blades making the tackle, doesn't get up, comes up banged up a little bit.
Anthony mentioned earlier that Blades, a Pro Bowler in '91, had the broken leg a season ago. Trying to get back to 100% this year, and it's been whether, still the leg or an ankle or sometimes a back, and right now they're looking at his arm or the wrist or something.
Well, you see Benny Blades right here making the break on the ball. Reggie Cobb makes the catch, and it looks like a clean hit. Might have been a little bit of a stinger or a little shot to the shoulder there as he went in and made the tackle on Reggie Cobb. But talking to Coach Fonz, he said, here's a guy, Benny Blades, who's trying to get back to that Pro Bowl form. But one of the things that they've had to do with him is keep him out of practice, usually 1 or 2 days a week, because, like you said, of his lower back. And that's not helpful because a guy has to be in there and practice in order to regain that form.
Well, Blades is in some pain. He's not even moving the right arm at all. And that's already a banged-up Lions secondary.
It really is. We mentioned earlier Ryan McNeil. And, you talk to Coach Fonz, and he goes through the injury list. And it's these things of the high ankle sprain. And that's the thing that Ryan McNeil has. It's his high ankle injury that a lot of his players are getting. And it's almost like they go down, and he looks at the trainer, and he doesn't want to hear it's a high ankle sprain, but he hears that over and over.
All right, Packers in front 24-7, 26 seconds left until halftime. Favre trying to tack on a few more. Across the middle, nearly intercepted. Willie Clay had his hands on the football, but couldn't haul it in.
Well, Brett Favre trying to get it in there on the coverage. Makes a good throw, but Willie Clay makes a nice break on it. Favre trying to hit Robert Brooks, but again, like I said, Willie Clay nearly comes up with the interception.
And Wayne Fonz told us Willie really should have a few more interceptions this year. He's had a few of those occur.
Yeah, he's had a few drops, so he probably would have a few more.
2nd and 10. Favre being chased by Owens. And just throws it away.
And Tom, it's not like he's not used to catching the football. At Georgia Tech, school record of 16 interceptions. So he's used to catching the football.
So now at 3rd and 10, as Jackie continues to loosen up over on the sideline. They're a pretty good distance out of Jackie's range right now. That'd be roughly, a 55-yard field goal. Jackie has booted 13 field goals of 50 or more yards in his career. Complete and a first down to Terry Mickens, a rookie out of Florida A&M.
Well, the one thing that the Packers are doing offensively with Brett Favre, he doesn't have one guy that he's going to every play. He's spreading the ball around, hitting Sterling Sharpe, Robert Brooks, Terry Mickens, throwing to Ed West over the middle. I mean, he's using everyone.
Edgar Bennett.
After this first half, they won't have guys in the locker room saying, hey, I'm not getting the ball, because he's spreading it around.
That is a commonly heard complaint from guys on the offensive side of the football. All right, 11 seconds left. 1st and 10 from the 28. Favre looking for the end zone. Touchdown, Robert Brooks. Brett Favre is having one whale of a game.
I would say he is making some nice progress running this Packer offense. At least this first half, he showed that he is, as Coach Holmgren said, coming along. And he's thrown to 8 different players. 8 guys. I mean, that's rare. Usually you have 1 or 2, maybe 3. But Robert Brooks right here getting behind Mike Johnson makes the catch for a nice touchdown. Nice little spike behind the back.
Yep, Brooks' 2nd touchdown of the game. Jackie nails the extra point. So Green Bay marches down the field, and with 6 seconds left, Favre hooks up with Robert Brooks for the touchdown. 31 points for Green Bay today. And we have said very little about Barry Sanders.
Here he is taking a little break after a nice throw to Robert Brooks. Again, when you have that many guys to give the ball to, that definitely takes pressure off the quarterback. When you know you can turn around, give it to the running back, or throw it downfield. Nice protection. Dan Owens comes through a little late, but Brett Favre still has enough time to hit Robert Brooks. And you talk about relieving the pressure off your quarterback. The Packers are doing that now.
What in the world is Mike Johnson doing covering Robert Brooks? I mean, there's probably a zone in the back, which clearly Tardy getting to, but that's not a matchup the Lions are going to win.
No, I'd say 9 out of 10, maybe 10 out of 10 times. He was back there pretty deep, but there was no one behind him.
Right.
I mean, if it's a zone, you have to have the guys coming in. You saw Willie Clay come in late, but there's nobody. You can't expect to have your linebacker covering a wide receiver. They're just not going to match up that well.
Go 88 yards in 10 plays in 2 minutes and 8 seconds. And bringing it back, Eric Lynch tackled at the 40, and still 1 second left until halftime. Well, if you're Wayne Fontes, Anthony Munoz, what are you going to say to your club at halftime? You're down 31-7.
Well, I think the one thing I look at if I'm the head coach and it sticks out are the turnovers. I mean, the turnovers. You can't afford to turn the ball over and expect your defense to hold an offense that's on a roll right now. And they're just putting too much pressure on that defense. They have to eliminate the turnovers.
Scott Mitchell again left the game. They were going to examine his right wrist. Dave Craig on in relief, and he'll just go down on a knee and stop the bleeding for the time being. They are fired up about the green and gold here in Milwaukee. The end of the first half. Green Bay 31, Detroit 7. Stay tuned for the Dockers halftime with JB and Terry after this message from your local Fox station.
Been recognized in the area for their activities both on and off the field.
Well, we're set to begin the second half. Kellen Winslow will stay with us here for a little bit longer as Detroit will receive. And taking the kickoff is Van Malone, the rookie, and the numbers do not lie, Anthony Munoz, from the first half.
Well, that's true, Tom. And you look at the way that the Packers have converted. First of all, the big number here, four turnovers, and then you look at the total yards. 238 for the Packers and 92 for the Lions. Again, I'm sure Wayne Fontes at halftime said, hey guys, we have to cut out the turnovers because the Packers have 17 points off those turnovers.
Well, there's a man both of you saw a little bit of in a number of Pro Bowls, Reggie White. First and 10, and again, on in relief of Scott Mitchell is David Craig. Feeling the heat, Steve McMichael drags him down. Scott Mitchell, we understand, a broken bone in his right hand. Again, Mitchell broke a bone in the right hand, and here's the play in a moment where the injury occurred, and he will not return for the game today.
Well, a guy that we've not been calling hardly any at all the first half. The first play of the second half comes through, and that's number 90, Steve McMichael, who came over from the Chicago Bears after playing a lot of years there. And Kellen, I'm sure you saw him quite a bit during
Quite a bit. Lived in Chicago for a couple of years. Steve is a wild man here in Green Bay, just playing outstanding football in the latter part of his career.
Kellen Winslow in the booth with us. Craig slipped as he threw, but makes the connection to Herman Moore. And let's take a look at the play in which Scott Mitchell was injured on.
Well, he goes back, and right there you see Sean Jones hits him just after he throws the ball, and you can tell he's in pain. He kind of rolls over, grabbing that right hand where the bone is broken in that right hand.
So it'll be a third down after the completion to Herman Moore. 3rd and 8. Comes a blitz. Craig saw it, got it away, makes the completion. So Aubrey Matthews good enough for a first down. Well, Kellen Winslow your name on the ballot for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And I know you have to be excited about that, and obviously we're all rooting for you.
Well, thank you. This is the third time I was nominated. Each time I've been nominated, there's been 2 other Chargers on the ballot. The first year, Dan Faust, Charlie Joyner, and myself. Last year, Charlie Joyner, Wes Chandler, and myself. And I think the 3 of us are up again on the final 54. They'll cut it down to 15. We'll see the day before the Super Bowl.
I don't think either one of you two have much to worry about.
One day.
You'll get
One
there.
day.
You will get there. Craig on a 1st and 10. Again the near side, and again Aubrey Matthews on the reception. So a good start here for David Craig.
Well, after the first time he was hit by Steve McMichael, he's just bounced right back, gone back there and hit Aubrey Matthews there. You have to look, not great protection, but enough time. You see him going back. Sean Bowens right there working on McMichael. Barry Sanders trying to get a little bit in right there as a blocker. Makes a nice throw, nice completion.
Well, we talked about Anthony Munoz and Kellen Winslow having played in Pro Bowls with Reggie White. I know you guys have been there a time or two with Dave Craig as well as they hand it off to Sanders. Broke 1 tackle, stiff arms keyed to the ground, and he's close to the first down, maybe a yard or 2 short.
I tell you, Barry Sanders is so exciting when he gets that football. There are very few people in the National Football League who can always, every time they touch the ball, go the distance. Now watch him get to the outside. He's going to bounce it here. A play that's designed for him to have that option, and it's difficult to tackle him one-on-one in open field. He's short. He's hard to get to his legs, but he's quick as a jitterbug.
Munoz, you better block him out of the booth.
I tell you, he does a great job. Not only was he an excellent tight end, I had a chance to play next to him and watch him, but I tell you, I might be catching that early flight to Cincinnati.
Oh, I don't think you have anything to worry about.
2nd and 3. Craig, he is red hot. 5 Sanders, first down for Detroit. Inside the 30, Bryce Paup able to push him out of bounds.
You have to believe those defenders are happy to see that sideline when they're having to tackle Barry Sanders, because they can use that sideline and kind of corral him in there and shove him out of bounds.
And Green Bay does have to be careful because David Craig is a streak passer. Saw him for a number of years playing against Seattle twice a year. He can get real hot and go for a long time without an interception, high percentage on his completions, and move his team back into this ball game.
I want to ask you about your old team, San Diego, here in a moment. 1st and 10, opening drive of the second half. Craig looking downfield, throws, and it's nearly intercepted by T. Well, how about the San Diego Chargers, Kellen Winslow? Will they continue their terrific play thus far this season and ride it out to the end?
As long as that defense is playing to the level that they're playing, with Junior Seau and Leslie O'Neal playing very well for them, and Natro Mean stays healthy, they will continue to dominate in the AFC West. If Natro Mean goes down with an ankle injury or knee or whatever, that team's going to go with it.
As you see right here, the Chargers 7-1, 2 games ahead of the Chiefs, who are 5-3. Who do they have behind Means as a running back?
Well, they got Ronnie Harmon and the kid out of Colorado, Eric Bieniemy, who's known for putting the ball on the ground from time to time.
2nd and 10. And Sanders wrestled down by Gilbert Clown, number 93, and we have called his name a number of times here today.
Again, at 6'2", 330 pounds, he was going to make sure that Barry Sanders didn't get away from him. Right here, nice little delayed draw by Craig. And as soon as he takes the handoff, big Gilbert Brown is right there to make the tackle. He's excited.
So to bring up a 3rd and 16 for Detroit. Lions need to throw points on the board in a hurry. Here comes a blitz. Craig completes the pass to Herman Moore, and he loses the football. Torrey Harris had it for a minute. Apparently lost the handle. Terrell Buckley, the man who stripped it away from Moore. And let's see who comes up with it. This could be the 5th turnover of the game for Detroit.
Well, Sean Jones comes up limping as he walks towards the sideline, but David Craig did a nice job avoiding the rush and completing that pass to Herman Moore. He was stripped, and right now they have a big pile up, and you better believe that the guys at the bottom of that pile are fighting to see who can get that ball. Kellen, I'm sure you've been in that position before, trying to, hopefully not your ball that you're
after my ball, yeah.
No.
Unfortunately, it has been after my fumble. But Herman Moore trying to create something, making it happen when you're down this far, running with the ball, hanging out in one hand, looking for the big play, instead of making it and turning upfield and trying to get as much yard as he possibly can.
Right here you see Herman Moore coming in quickly, receiving the ball from David Craig, who avoids the rush. And as you said, Kellen, right there, he's got it like a loaf of bread, as they say. One hand, and it's stripped. And the Packers recover it.
Kellen, thanks for stopping by.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
To see you.
You bet.
Thanks,
Anthony.
Kellen. Great seeing you.
Take care.
Chrysler's
Along the shores of Lake Michigan, a look at Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Well, the youngsters who want to be football players and carry the ball, this is not the way you want to do it right here. You should have that ball tucked away. Right there, Terrell Buckley comes from behind, strips the ball loose, and gives it another turnover for the Lions.
The 5th of the game by Detroit. Cobb takes a handoff. Benny Blades back into the game, and he is again wincing in pain, gripping that right arm. That was the injury he occurred just before halftime when Favre marched him down the field for that final scoring drive.
You can see the tape around his arm there. It probably had it taped up at halftime, but once again you can see that he is in tremendous pain. Coming in, I believe, will be number 21, Harry Colin, to take his spot.
Tell you, Benny Blades is a tough guy.
And right there, it's obvious that he's tough. Hurts that arm or shoulder, and he comes back in. He tries to play.
Favre, good enough for a first down. Reception made by Sterling Sharp for Sharp, his 3rd catch of the game.
You know, getting back to Brett Favre and just how calm he looks back there, how confident he looks back there, and just by watching his body motion. I mean, he gets back there, he looks the field over, and he just sets and he throws the ball. I mean, to me, he looks like a quarterback, again, that is very comfortable with this Packer offense.
And one thing about Favre, he has his critics, but he has been a winner running this Green Bay team. Bennett, flag comes in late. Number 51. Roderick Thomas just slamming Bennett to the turf.
Well, you have number 94, Kelvin Pritchett, singling holding, which it is, against the Packers. And Kelvin Pritchett got some unbelievable penetration, almost took the handoff as he was engaged with an offensive lineman. And I think because of his quick penetration, it made the offensive lineman hold him.
Well, you can read the lips, number 86, Ed West.
They call it on 86, who right there, he kind of tackles him to the ground. I mean, that was a 2-point takedown there by Ed West. He tried to double team him, and Pritchett just split the double team. I think he was blocking down, and Ed West said, hey, I got to cool this guy down. Hopefully they won't see me, but they caught him.
Robert Forshea twisted his ankle in the first half. He will not return. Here's that ankle thing again for the Lions. Favre throws it out to Sharp, and he lunges forward, puts the ball down at the 40. Clock continues to run.
You sure that's not a high ankle thing?
Right.
I think that's the high ankle thing. And he's another player. Last week in up against the Giants in their game, we mentioned Ryan McNeil having to go out before the game and run and check his ankle injury. Forshea did the same thing last week, and I didn't see him out there this week, so it might have felt better during the week. But once again, he's out of the ball game, as you said, not returning because of that ankle.
How about that score? Indianapolis in front of Miami. Quite a surprise. And Atlanta in front of San Diego. Favre on a 2nd and 16. Overthrows badly the receiver, and it's picked off by Harry Colin. He hands it off to number 32, Willie Clay, and he's able to carry it across the 35 out to the 37. So the first interception of the game, and the first against Brett Favre. So the Lions trailing 31-7. We'll try and climb back in it when we return.
You see Dan Owens going one-on-one with Joe Sims, who's moved to the left guard position, makes a nice swim move to the inside, putting the pressure on Brett Favre. And then Brett Favre overthrows his receiver, and Harry Colin makes the interception. Right here he says, hey, I'm being tackled. How about Willie? Why don't you take it and try to get some extra yardage? But it was all started out by Dan Owens right here, the 6'3", 280-pounder from USC. That's University of Southern California.
How about that seat right there? And where the Brewers play here in the summertime, that little slide right there. They slide right down into the beer mug after a home run. You
right here?
You see yourself doing that?
Now, I'd probably get stuck in those bars right in there. I'd probably, with my weight, I'd overshoot it and fall into the stands. No way would I try that. They would need something that was about that wide, or yeah, maybe a little wider for me, but that's too narrow. I mean, I wouldn't fit. I know there's one part of my body that would get stuck. Several parts, maybe. You mean to tell me if they gave you that seat, you wouldn't take it? What's that again? You wouldn't take that seat if they gave it to you? I don't think so. Because they would clear out the stadium after the game, and I'd still be stuck up there. I mean, it would happen. That's not narrow or wide enough. It's too narrow. That's for sure. This booth isn't wide enough. I tell you, our crew in here is really getting cozy. I mean, we're really bonding together because we're real close. Right. We're really getting to know each other well today. Very well. And it's not a pretty picture. Well, they're working on the referee's microphone. And so that's why we have a slight delay. I want to remind you, if you're looking for action and adventure, turn to Fox this Friday night and meet a new breed of superhero, Mantis. Followed by the show USA Today calls Thrilling and Terrifying, The X-Files. It's all part of Fox's all-new November, coming up this Friday. Well, we have not heard much from Barry Sanders today. 11 carries, 29 yards. And, of course, you're talking about a guy who is on pace to eclipse the 2,000-yard mark on the season, trying to join Eric Dickerson and O.J. Simpson, the only two that have ever done that. Well, first of all, you have to give that Packer defense a lot of credit because they've done an unbelievable job stopping the running game of the Detroit Lions. And again, they've been having to play catch-up because of all the turnovers. And, I mean, that #1 NFL defense really stepped it up today and said, hey, we're going against probably not the best back, one of the best backs in the league. We have to stop them. Still a long way to go, however. 7:55 to play in the third quarter. Greg on a 1st and 10 goes to Sanders, flag on the field, and he jukes one man, a couple of more, and Sanders crosses midfield to the Packer 49, but again a flag down on the field. George Teague tripped him up. Got an offense on the offsides on the defense. Again, you mentioned George Teague tripped them up.
Offside, number 64. The penalty is declined. First down.
That's against your buddy, John Yurkovich.
My buddy, I mean, he was disappointed. He's a big Cubs fan. I know the last game we did, he kind of blew him off, didn't talk to him, and he was really upset about that. I told him, settle down. He'll talk to you next time we do your game. Well, we had a very enjoyable conversation on the field this afternoon. Sanders, what a move. Spins away from another man. All the way down to the 32-yard line. George Teague able to bring him down. Actually, Teague missed the tackle. He broke away from him there. Right here you see Barry Sanders taking the ball behind Doug Weidel and David Lutz. Takes it in, then he runs outside. Oh, George Teague still looking for him down there on the field because he tried to put a big hit on him. Barry Sanders just kind of sidestepped, made a little spin, picked up a few more yards. What you brought up earlier. He never seemed to get a clean shot. Well, you talk about Barry Sanders, and like I said in the opening, his balance, his speed, but Coach Vaughn said he's learned how to duck tackles so they don't hit him flush. He's learned how to step out of bounds when he's gotten every yard possibly that he can get. Right here, number 31, George Teague, he kind of leaves our screen here, but he'll come back in a hurry, and then Barry Sanders will be by him in a hurry. Right here. George Teague thinking that he was going to get a nice shoulder shot in, and you cannot lower your head and expect to tackle Barry Sanders. After the 3-yard gain by Derek Moore, 2nd and 7 for Craig and the Lions. And the ball is loose. Reggie White able to
get on top of it, but it is incomplete. He batted it down.
Well, the one thing Reggie White did, he wished he had that one back. You see him right here. Reggie White, he's being double teamed, so he feels that. And all of a sudden he says, well, if I can't get in, I'll jump up. The ball smacks him right between the 9 and the 2. And here he is. He's trying to get it. Kevin Glover right there thinks he might try to get it, but the ball hits the ground.
3rd and 7. Packers bring the house. Craig gets it away. Well short of the first down. Leroy Butler comes up and drags down Ron Hall. It'll bring 4th down for the Lions, but at this point in the game, they have to go for it, don't they?
I agree with you. They do have to go with it, and they know that the Packers are going to be blitzing as Corey Harris came on that one. David Craig had to dump it off to Hall, but there's no question about it. There's 5:40 left in the 3rd quarter. They're down by a lot of 31-7. They have to go try to get something here on the board.
4th down and 4.
They're all up. They're coming.
Craig throws for the corner. Jump ball. Herman Moore wins and gets in for the touchdown. Well, Herman Moore, the big target at 6'4". He just threw it up for grabs, and more times than not, Moore will haul it in. A 28-yard touchdown reception.
And David Craig had to watch the end of that play from his seat. He was on the ground right here. Herman Moore going one-on-one with Terrell Buckley. The ball's thrown up. Nice play by Herman Moore, seeing the ball, coming back for it. Terrell Buckley's trying to play him, so he didn't look back and see the ball. Again, as I mentioned, David Craig had to watch that catch from his back because the Packers came with an all-out blitz and hit him just as he threw it.
Hansen on for the extra point. Montgomery the holder. So the Lions have made it a 31-14 game. We have 5:16 to play in the 3rd quarter. We'll be back in a moment. On a 4th and 4, the 28-yard touchdown reception made by Herman Moore from David Craig. And Hansen kicks it away. Very short kick. And the ball is lost. It's on the ground. And the Lions say they've recovered. The official says no. It still belongs to the Packers. At least one official said the Packers will hold on to the possession.
I guess the big question there is if he gained possession before the ball went out of bounds. And there's hands going both ways. I guess that would be the big question right there on the sideline.
Marcus Wilson, the man who lost the ball. Derek Moore has it in his hands.
Covered by the kicking team. Unfortunately, his feet were out of bounds when he recovered it. We're going this way.
A little editorial comment there by the official using the word unfortunately. I guess that's right if you're Detroit.
Right here, you see Marcus Johnson trying to dive after it, and the ball's rolling around here. He's saying, oh, where is it? He doesn't know where it is. And you see Derek Moore, as he goes to recover the football, his feet or his foot is over the out-of-bounds line. Therefore, possession stays with the receiving team.
And as the official would say, unfortunately, Wayne Fonts would certainly be in agreement with that. So we'll take a break in the action. 31-14, Green Bay. Shot of the Milwaukee County War Memorial, dedicated back in 1957 to honor those who fought for our country. Here at County Stadium, a 31-14 Packer lead, a 1st and 10. And the hand Edgar Bennett. Good play defensively made by Broderick Thomas.
Well, Tom, one of the changes along that Green Bay offensive line, we have Guy McIntyre who is being rested. Right here we have Paul Hutchins, number 67, out of Western Michigan, 6'4.5", 335 pounds. I think Western Michigan, Central Michigan, and part of Eastern Michigan, this guy. Look at this guy right here. Here's Michigan. He's from Western, Central, and Eastern Michigan. I mean, that is big guy.
That's an understatement. You better hide next Packer game we have.
And Anthony.
Well, you get a look at Edgar Bennett. Dorsey Levens came in on that last play. A penalty to win against Green Bay.
Well, once again, pressure on Brett Favre by Dan Owens, and he had to dump it off. Here you see. Notice the Lion defense a little confused. Tracy Scroggins running in and running back off the field.
Reggie Cobb breaks a couple of tackles. He's out across the 35. And I tell you, you have to admire the courage of Benny Blades here today. He is in just tremendous pain. You can tell from his every movement, yet he keeps coming back.
Well, he's a fighter, and especially being down 31-14. He still wants to be part of this. Hopefully they can score some more points and get back into the game. And there's no way that he wants to be out of this ball game. He knows the importance of this game, and he wants to be in there regardless to how much he's hurting. And you know he's in tremendous pain.
Fires to Sterling Sharp. And he tries to lunge forward for the first down, depending on the spot whether he got there. He was tangled up with Milton Mack.
Tom, we talked about the changes along the offensive line. We talked Guy McIntyre came back after being injured for several weeks, played the Bear game, suffered a pulled groin. He started today, but they took him out to rest him. They moved Joe Sims from the right tackle position over to the left tackle, and Paul Hutchins at right tackle. It's a good time to rest that groin, but they know the importance of a Guy McIntyre in their lineup. Hopefully, I guess they're thinking right now as they're far enough ahead that hopefully this game won't be close and they won't need him in there. But it is a good time to rest Guy McIntyre.
And Sharp able to lunge ahead for the first down. McIntyre has been to 5 straight Pro Bowls, and he left San Francisco, no bitterness. He certainly thought he would finish his career there, and but now in Green Bay and seems to be very happy about it.
Well, I'm sure the fact that he thought Green Bay had a good chance of going in the playoffs and hopefully doing something that he did with the 49ers, and that was winning championships. I guess that enticed him to be here.
The pitch to Dorsey Levens. Cut it back for a couple of yards. Levens, a rookie out of Georgia Tech. That is Levens' first rush of the season. So he's getting a chance now after the injury to Edgar Bennett. Now Green Bay taking advantage of 5 Detroit turnovers. Opened up a 31-7 halftime advantage. Detroit on a 4th and 4, a touchdown pass to Herman Moore here in the 3rd quarter. So 31-14, Packers lead. Scott Mitchell had to leave the game in the 2nd quarter with a broken bone in his right hand. He will not come back. Favre scrambles close to the first down. Well, Favre had a terrific running game last Monday night against Chicago. Rushed for 58 yards, including one for the highlight reel, a 36-yard touchdown.
Well, one of the impressive things that Brett Favre's been able to do as he comes back right here. Number 4, the quarterback, nice little fake to Reggie Cobb, and he rolls to his left, pumps right there, but he decides to run, and a nice block right there by Ed West, the tight end, to give Brett Favre a little more room to get hopefully that first down, which they do get. And again, it's nice to see when your quarterback's running or a running back is running downfield that your receivers, your tight ends are down there giving them some help, as Ed West did on that play. And again, as I said, Brett Favre gets the first down with that key block.
So the clock running down to 2:35 to play in the 3rd quarter. And the Packers in front, 31-14. Stay on the ground. Cobb breaks it to the left sideline. A couple of men to beat, cuts it back. Finally wrestled down by Robert Massey inside the 20, close to the 15.
Well, the Packer offense came out early in the game. They weren't able to run the ball that well, but right here they've been able to bust a couple of these loose, and Reggie Cobb gets through there, makes a nice move, and all of a sudden he's off, but he realizes that Benny Blades has the angle on him, so he slows down, tries to cut it back, and Robert Massey makes the tackle.
Now there's a pretty good genetic line, would you say?
Lou Brock, I think so.
Not bad. 30-yard pickup for Cobb. Barr takes one way, throws across the middle to West, and he's down to the 14.
That's one of the another thing that the Packers have been able to do offensively. Not only hit 8 different people with the pass, but they've been able to find Ed West right over the middle and hit him 3 or 4 times for nice gains. They see something in that Lion defense where, you know, they can do that. And as long as they continue to see that, you can see, I mean, you can expect them to exploit the middle of that Lion defense.
West 4 receptions in the game, 54 yards. A 2nd and 7 for Green Bay. They give us to Levin. He's down close to the 10.
A lot of times you come into a game with your game plan. You have certain plays that you probably know for sure that you can run. But in a situation like this, the third quarter's running down. They have a 17-point lead. This gives your offense a chance to really run some of those plays that you might not have a chance to run when there's a close game. So watch for them maybe to use something different that they've not been able to use maybe early in the game or in some of the games they've played this year.
A little longer than a yard needed for the first down. Call it third and about a yard and a half. Inside handoff. Cobb breaks to the outside. Touchdown, Reggie Cobb. This has been some kind of impressive outing by this Green Bay offense today. You hear so much about their defense. The O's gotten it done today.
Well, Reggie Cobb coming from behind the left tackle, a little counter play coming across the backfield. One man to beat, and that's former teammate Milton Mack from the Buccaneers. But Reggie Cobb gets enough to get into the end zone for 6.
Mackey on for the extra point, which would give the Packers a 38-14 lead. Who would have expected this? 4 seconds left to play in the third quarter from County Stadium in Milwaukee. It's 38-14 Green Bay.
As we look at the run again, you see motion there by Reggie Johnson coming across. And Reggie Cobb comes from across the backfield. And as he comes across, there's nobody there. Everyone had pursued to the side he was on. And he comes across, nice little handoff there. One man to beat, and that's a defensive back. Gets into the end zone.
Well, you know, you start looking around and how this game and some of the others might affect wild card positions at the end of week 9 in the NFL. And Chicago in front of Tampa Bay. Certainly plenty of time to go in that one. And Atlanta, surprisingly, in front of San Diego. Well, Barry Sanders, it certainly has been a different week than that one in which he played against the Giants last Sunday.
146 yards last week and 45 yards with 1 quarter left. As I mentioned earlier, this Packer defense knew they had a big job ahead of them. And so far in 3 quarters, they've basically said, hey, this guy is not going to beat us. If they're going to beat us, they're going to have to do it with the pass. It hasn't happened.
And again, for those of you not with us earlier, Scott Mitchell had to leave the game in the second quarter with a broken bone in his right hand. And Dave Craig has been on. He's gone 9 of 12 for 91 yards with a touchdown and an interception. And Moore looking around for the football. And then he brings it out to the 28. So that'll be the end of the third quarter here in Milwaukee. Our score, Green Bay 38, Detroit 14. Our coverage will continue after this message from your local Fox station. Back in Milwaukee's County Stadium, a 38-14 Packer lead in Cheeseland.
They didn't have their cheese heads on, though. House of Curd. I'd say a lot of friendly fans around here. Right here. Big stat, right? Second quarter, 21 points for the Packers. Let's get back to the fans. You and I got an invitation to eat a little lasagna with the tailgaters. You might have to check them out after the game.
You take that to the bank. Craig fires, and the pass is caught by Brett Perriman. Trying to get back on his feet, and George Teague tracking him down. Well, you got to be working up a little appetite. You've been here for a while.
Yep, I guess. I smell all that food as we walked in and saw those dogs on the grill, and then she mentions lasagna. I mean, I was like, Tom, you go handle the game for a little bit. I'm going to eat some lasagna.
Craig running around in the pocket all day to throw. And has to throw it away.
See, we got in Thursday night, spent a night in Green Bay, came down to Milwaukee.
Yeah, it took us 5 hours to drive down here. It's only 90 miles away.
Well, you slept. You slept the whole trip. Right here you see David Craig going back. Little pressure, not a lot. He kind of steps up a little bit. Avoids a rush by Reggie White. Rolls to his left. Looks it over again. Says, okay, who do I throw to? Okay, keep moving. Keep going. Man, he's like, okay, maybe I'll just throw it out of bounds. He had maybe 10 seconds there.
Second and 10, and unable to complete the pass intended for Brett Perriman.
I believe. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. You know, if you're Wayne Fontes, and there still is 14:22 to go, and the game not over yet, but it's going to take a miracle just about for his team to come back. He really thought his team was starting to get things together, and now clearly a couple of steps in the wrong direction.
Well, again, and I don't want to harp on it, but he really did think they were coming around. But when you have all those turnovers, well, that takes you big, giant step backwards. You can't afford to have all those turnovers, especially against an excellent defense and then an offense that's really going in the right direction.
Looked like Gilbert Brown jumped a little bit early. Free play. They fire down to Herman Moore. Makes a reception down close to the 10. Terrell Buckley, a touchdown-saving tackle. There was early movement. And it looked like number 98, actually, Gabe Wilkins, who jumped across the line. So a good work there by Craig on a 49-yard throw to Herman Moore.
First down.
Well, it was a heads-up play by David Craig. Go ahead and go through with the play. Right here, see Herman Moore one-on-one again with Terrell Buckley. Kind of goes to the outside, and the ball's thrown. Nice throw by David Craig. And then he makes a touchdown-saving catch. Not the easiest tackle to make for Terrell Buckley. You have to realize he's 5'9". Herman Moore 6'3".
6 receptions, 131 yards, and a touchdown for Herman Moore today. Sanders hit as soon as he took the handoff by Reggie White. Who else?
Oh, he's excited. You usually don't see that out of Reggie White. He gets excited. I'll tell you, they have a lot to be excited about. You know, it's good to see a guy that hardly ever shows emotion, show some emotion. He knows that he has stopped probably the best back in the league, or one of the best backs in the league. And he gets a little excited. The big guy kind of shaking and moving right there.
Loss of 4. Craig. Pump fake, throws, makes a completion. Aubrey Matthews cuts it back, and he has a touchdown. Good running after the reception by Aubrey Matthews. And that makes it a 38-20 game, 15-yard touchdown pass.
As you mentioned, still plenty of time. They kicked this extra point. They're going for 2. They're coming in, they're signaling going for 2. They're not out of this ball game by any means. The thing that was impressive was that second effort by Brett Perriman. Caught the ball and wasn't satisfied. I'm sorry, Audrey Matthews wasn't satisfied with just catching the ball, but determined to get into the end zone, which he did.
Reggie barking at the official.
You see a defensive lineman doing that, you have to realize that maybe he's not too excited about the offensive lineman, maybe grabbing a little clock, maybe holding a little bit.
It's the first time the Lions have tried on a 2-point conversion all season. 4 wideouts into the game. Jump ball for Herman. That's going to be interference. Yeah, he just grabbed a hold of it. I could even see that up here, and I'm not wearing black and white.
Well, as I mentioned, Terrell Buckley 5'9", 176. Herman Moore 6'3", 210. That, as we see the holding call against the defense, that's a logical way to go. 6'3", excellent vertical jumper. Put him against the smaller defensive back, throw it up, let him go up for it.
Holding number 27.
I hear Herman Moore, 84. David Craig just throws it up right away. He says, go up for a big guy. And right there you see Buckley hanging all over him.
I don't know what Terrell's complaining about.
He had a handful of jersey in one hand. I'm not sure why he thinks it wasn't a holding.
People have a hearing over most calls like that. From the 1-yard line. Oh, they're going to get it. 2-point conversion is good to Perriman. And that makes it a 38-22 game, and we still have 13 minutes and 14 seconds left to play. Don't count out the veteran Dave Craig just yet.
And they're full.
As we look at David Craig's touchdown to Aubrey Matthews, once again, a little pump fake. Then as he's going back, throws it up. Matthews makes the catch. Then all of a sudden, it's all effort from there on out. Makes the touchdown.
Coming back in the Lions. I think they might try an onside kick here. What do you think?
Well, it looks like it. Got about 10 guys over it.
And there's a... Oh! Got it. Herman Moore's got it. A flag is on the field. I think Green Bay left too soon. They're probably going to be whistled for offside. I mean Detroit, I apologize.
Boy, that was executed very well. And to have a penalty thrown, they're going to be really upset about that. I mean, you can't execute an onside kick any better than that. Unless you jump off sides, if that's what the call.
Well, let's see what it'll be. What a break this would be for Wayne Font's team if this flag is against the Packers.
Well, the Lions are jumping up and down like the call's against the Packers, but we still have to get the call from the officials. Again, they're 16 points down. That's 2 touchdowns, and they go for 2. They can still tie this thing up.
Oh, offsides against Green Bay.
We had offside on the receiving team. The kicking team did, in fact, recover the kick. They cannot advance it, however.
Herman Moore, number 84, right here. And he's the guy, the only guy up. And he's the guy that's hoping for the ball to take a big hop. But the ball doesn't take, there it is right there. Nice hop right into his hands. You can't work that kick any better.
Wow. So with 13:09 left to play here in the game, all of a sudden, the Lions believing they can mount the charge.
Well, you work on those a lot at practice, hoping that you get the right bounces. And a lot of times you work on them, you don't get the right bounces. But right there, Jason Hansen got a perfect bounce of Herman Moore.
38-22, Green Bay in front. A 1st and 10. Detroit at its own 42-yard line. Craig. Pump fake. Ball squirts loose. Picked up by Rodney Holman, the tight end. And he's advancing the football. And what looked like a huge loss turns into a short loss. Popp and Sean Jones back there applying the pressure.
Well, Bryce Popp making the big hit and jarring the ball loose. Right here you see him. Number 95, Bryce Popp going against Rodney Holman. Starts to the outside, but then brings it back to the inside, and the ball comes loose. Rodney Holman heads up enough to pick it up and say, hey, this is a live ball. Somebody hit a Packer for me. I want to run this thing. But again, it was Bryce Popp who made the big hit.
On a 2nd and 13, Craig feels the heat, dumps it off to Sanders. He's coming back the other way. Moore delivers a block. And Sanders still on his feet, close to midfield.
He might only have 45 yards rushing, but when he touches the ball, it's exciting. Every time, just about, even if he struggles to get back to line of scrimmage. You see number 20, Barry Sanders, right there. Craig kind of rolls to the left, throws a little quick screen to him, then Barry Sanders comes across the field. Right there, Herman Moore held back from hitting the guy from behind the back. Sanders makes a nice run.
A 3rd and 2. Big play for the Detroit offense. Sanders will get the first down. And more. Well, he'll just slam a shoulder into Doug Evans, who pushes him out of bounds.
Oh, that was impressive. He was pinned in that sideline. He said, the heck with going out of bounds or ducking down and falling forward. He stuck a shoulder into him, and I'm sure Doug Evans felt that one because we heard it up here.
It's been a frustrating day for Sanders. No 2 ways about it. Our crew's on top of everything. You kidding me?
That's right. Not only the sound, but the pictures. Super job by the crew. Right here you see 181 total yards this half compared to 77 for the Packers.
1st and 10 Detroit at the Green Bay 46. Craig, short drop, completes to Rodney Holman. And Holman tackled by Tim Howe. Clock continues to run. We're under 11 minutes.
It's nice when you have a guy like Rodney Holman, a 3-time Pro Bowler in his 13th season. Get this, he's played in 189 consecutive games with 128 of those starts. That's 3rd all-time among tight ends. Still a very good player.
Former teammate of yours for the Bengals. Craig throws wide open Matthews. He's going for the end zone, but he's bumped out at the 5 by Terrell Buckley. What a turn of events, led by the 15-year veteran Dave Craig. 33-yard pickup.
Well, that was one of the things that Kellen Winslow told us when he was up here with us. Very streaky quarterback, and right now hitting one of his favorite targets so far this game. Aubrey Matthews again takes it down, but this guy David Craig has come in here and put a spark to this offense.
Well, Mike Holmgren saw Scott Mitchell go down with a broken bone in his right hand back in the 2nd quarter, and Craig has been very effective. 1st and goal from the 4. Craig throws. Pass is caught by Holman at the 1, maybe inside the 1. We're under 10 minutes left.
He did mention a former teammate of mine, Rodney Holman. We played together for 11 years in Cincinnati. Considered at one time probably one of the best tight ends in the league.
Well, number 76, Scott Conover, is checked into the game. 4th-year pro out of Purdue, and he is an eligible receiver. Also, Tom Beer, 48, Derek Moore. They like going to him in these situations. Tries to go over the top, denied by the Packer defense. Well, they're hooting and hollering, the fans down in the end zone.
Well, you mentioned Scott Conover, number 76, 285 pounds. They want to get some bigger bodies. Right here you see it. See the Packers really winning that one. They took the line of scrimmage, and they have the backers filling in there. I'd have to give that one to the Packers because they did push the Lion offensive line backwards.
3rd and goal. Greg looking around. Touchdown, Herman Moore. Moore having a huge game. And that brings it to 38-28. And they have to go, don't they, Anthony, for 2 points again?
I'd say they have to go for 2 because before this score they were down 16. They have to go for 2, then they'll be within 8. Craig gets back there, nice patience, looking over, doesn't panic. He looks to his left, then he comes back and looks to his right and hits Herman Moore along the end of the end zone for a touchdown.
We got a ball game here, pal.
We sure do. We sure do. And again, getting back to the spark that this line team, number 17, the 15-year vet, David Craig, and they're going for 2.
If they convert, it makes it 38-30. Craig throws, caught, the 2-point conversion by Brett Perriman. And all of a sudden, Green Bay's lead, what once was 31-7, is now down to 38-30. David Craig has thrown 3 touchdown passes in relief.
We have Brett Perriman, number 80, as they go for the 2 points after their touchdown. Pushes off a little bit, takes him in, comes back to the ball. Nice play against Doug Evans. And Brett Perriman gets a little physical right there to get that separation.
So the kickoff, and it's handled by Robert Brooks. And he runs out of bounds at the 30. So the Detroit Lions have come up with 23 points here in the second half. They trail by 8, still lots of time left here in Milwaukee. And look at the scoring by quarters here today in Milwaukee.
First half, you have the 21 by Green Bay, but the second quarter and then the fourth quarter are the 2 big quarters. One for Detroit, one for the Packers.
First and 10. They go to Reggie Cobb. Breaks it outside. And a good pickup on first down. Picked up nearly 8. Thomas and Mack on the tackle.
Tom, not only has the Lions outscored the Packers 23-7 this second half, but total yardage at halftime it was Green Bay 238-92. So far in this fourth quarter it's 334-321. As you see, Guy McIntyre, who was pulled out in rest, probably because of the groin. Right there you see a winner of 3 Super Bowls with the 49ers.
Well, they rolled up big yards with McIntyre in the game. They have done close to nothing with him out of the game. Second and 2. And good enough for the first down. The handoff to, again, the rookie Dorsey Levin.
Well, the good thing about it for the Packers, they're still up by 8, and they have the ball as the clock goes down just below 7.5 minutes. So it's not like they've lost the lead. They're still up by 8. If they don't score here, the Lions still have to score and go for the 2. But, you know, all they have to do right now is Brett Favre has to get in that huddle and say, hey, guys, we've been able to move the ball a lot this game. Let's just be patient and let's just go back to what we're capable of doing.
First and 10. Back on the ground. Penalty flag comes in. Reggie Cobb picks up about 6. Massey on the tackle.
Tom, to me it appeared that Tracy Scroggins, number 97, might have come across the line of scrimmage a little early. You see the official signaling offsides against the Lions. Maybe in a hurry, just a little too much.
So they'll repeat first down. It'll be first and 5 for Green Bay.
Again, we see here the first half, 238-92. And in the second half, just the opposite, 242-94, putting the Lions over the Packers in total yards. What a big change this second half.
Direct result of Dave Gregg at quarterback. Dropped for a 2-yard loss. Terrific penetration made by Shane Bonham, along with number 94, Kelvin Pritchett.
Kelvin Pritchett slow getting off the ground. Looks like he's a little hurt there, moving around. He's staying in there, kind of bending over.
Well, injuries have been a big part of this game. Scott Mitchell, the broken bone in his right hand. Edgar Bennett went down. He has not returned. So a 2nd and 7 now for Green Bay. And off to Cobb. Big hole, first down to the Detroit 47.
This Packer offense has done exactly what they've needed to do. After the Lions have made a run, they're down by 8. They're just starting to pound the ball, run the ball effectively. Great look. I feel like the running back wanted to take the handoff. Reggie Cobb takes it. I would have done that, cut it to the left, see the hole. I would have gone through there.
No, you wouldn't.
I felt like I was right there. Nice shot by the crew on that one.
That's as close as you're going to get, my friend, to taking a handoff out of the backfield.
Then again, looking in those eyes, I wouldn't want to take the handoff.
First and 10, back to the ground with Cobb. Spielman races through and trips him up. And now the Lions want to stop the clock. 5:05 left to play here in the fourth quarter. And Green Bay leading a charging Detroit team 38-30. We'll be back with more. Don't you dare go away.
Nine and a half spike there, huh? Little height on it after it hit the AstroTurf.
Not bad. Barr. Oh, it was tipped and nearly intercepted. If Robert Massey comes up with that football after the tip, they're looking at a 2-point conversion to try and tie. So now a 3rd down and 11.
Well, look at Brett Favre going back right here. Quick throw, but right there, Tracy Scroggins, number 97, getting up, tipping the ball. And as you said, Robert Massey right there, close to picking that one.
Huge play. 5:01 left. 3rd and long. And here they come. The blitz. Favre nearly went down. He'll have to take it himself. And he is close to the first down, depending on the spot. He needed to get to the 36.
Well, he showed some nice athletic ability on that one. He went back, was pressured, slipped, almost fell to the ground, but regained his balance and made a nice run. And they will measure this one to see if he has the first down.
This is going to be very, very close. Well, they bring out the chains, and he might be a little bit short. Oh. Literally an inch and a half.
I say you go for it right here. He goes back, he slips, regains his balance. Dan Owens has a shot. Can't quite get to him. He fakes a little flip there that might have stopped the defender, but then he gets almost enough for the first down, and right now they're going for it on fourth down.
And this season, Green Bay 5 of 9 on fourth down attempts. Fourth and an inch. I don't know. The second effort may have gotten Cobb there. Mike Johnson saying it was good enough for a stop.
I don't know. It doesn't look like they have it again. After determine where they spot the ball, but the initial charge by that line defense did not give him that inch, and he had to try to jump over the lineman. And I don't know, Tom.
Well, needless to say, this is a huge spot, and let's see what happens. They didn't get it.
They don't get it.
Nope. You really have to admire the character of Wayne Fonts and his team. They looked dead in the water beginning this fourth quarter.
They never gave up right here. The line of scrimmage. The Lions are down there. The Packers are down there. Let's see who wins this one. There's no room for Reggie Cobb to get over the pile, and he just kind of rolls out, tries to fall for the first down. Mike Johnson makes the stop. But there was a big pile up there. You have to give that Lion defensive front a lot of credit, and this Lion team a lot of credit, because they have continued to fight and fight this second half.
All right, here we go. 4:13 to play. From their own 37, Craig completes the pass to Rodney Holman out across the 40. Ball comes loose. Ballens picks it up there saying he was down. Craig is hit on 18 of 23. For 227 yards and 3 touchdowns. Look at that.
Mitchell here 5 for 15 for 63 yards before he went out. But a key stat right there, the 2 interceptions. Then David Craig, 18 for 23, like you just said, Tom, 230 yards, 3 touchdown passes. As the fans start the Reggie chant, and that's one man that can change a game around if he gets going. I mean, we've seen it before. He can definitely change the course of a ball game. Right here, number 92. And look at the intensity in those eyes.
Well, at the end of today's game, Anthony and I will select the Miller Lite player of the game. This one not close to being over. 3:30 to play. Craig. Oh, throws behind a wide-open Brett Perriman, and he was wide open.
Wide open. I mean, you can't say it any clearer than that. He was. I mean, he was right there. A good throw would have had a nice completion for the first down.
So now it'll be 3rd and 12.
Let's look at it as we see Craig going back. He goes back. He looks to his left. And boy, he was right there between the zone. That would have been, like I said, a first down with a nice pass and completion. But it's 3rd down and 11.
Craig throws, caught, short of the first down. Perriman short by about a yard. Clock continues to run. This is a big play. They just can't walk up to the line and spike the ball because it's 4th down. No, they're saying he was able to stretch ahead for a first down. I beg your pardon.
Boy, they got the mark on that one. Keep the drive going.
So a 1st and 10 at the 47. Clock at 2:50. They hand it off to Sanders. And he's shy of midfield.
Earlier we talked about the fans chanting Reggie, Reggie, and one of the things the Lions are sure they're going to take care of. They're going to make sure that that guy doesn't beat him, and they've been double teaming Reggie White this last drive here.
Craig dumps it off to Sanders. And he's unable to get out of bounds. He's across midfield down to the 46. Corey Harris on the tackle. And they'll try and get off another play, I'm sure, before the 2-minute warning. 3rd down and 5. Craig caught by Moore. 1st down, gets to his feet. He's inside the 30, down to the 28. Very reminiscent of that play last week in overtime against the Giants. So David Craig making a bid to get his team to the end zone. They trail by 8. 2 minutes left to go from Milwaukee. What a game. 151 yards and 2 touchdowns. He nearly broke that one.
Having a huge game. And last week, right here, you see against the Giants, taking the big hit. You see his knee hit the ground, but he doesn't hesitate. He just goes. I mean, he says, I'm not down, regardless of what's called, and it worked out in his advantage.
1st and 10 from the Green Bay 29. Craig nearly fell down. Sanders, what a catch. And he's to the 22. Tim Houck able to wrestle him down.
Wow. That's all I have to say is wow. I mean, these guys have just, the Lions have fought and fought and fought, and they got 1 minute and 43 left. They're 8 down, and they're driving. Again, David Craig doing a super job leading this Lion offense.
Craig going to the end zone and overthrows Perriman. He had him open. Doug Evans on the coverage.
And by his reaction, you know that he knew he had him open. He knew that he had 6 if he doesn't overthrow him.
1:33 left to play. Green Bay 38, Detroit 30. You see Wayne Fonts, a couple of timeouts left.
Plenty of time, 1:33. A lot of character on this team today. Fighting back, scratching. They were down by a lot of points, and they just fought back. Down by 8 now.
3rd and 3. They need to get to the 19, and they'll get it. Barry Sanders is able to, well, he lunges ahead, not getting out of bounds. And the clock continues to run. Not a wise move there by Sanders.
He had the 1st down, and he went vertically. He should have went horizontally and out of bounds. He didn't do that, and the clock continues to run.
So Craig going to get him to the line of scrimmage where he will more than, well, he's going to get him up there in a hurry. 1:05 left to go. Craig throws to the corner of the end zone, and it's broken up. Terrific defensive play. Morton, the intended receiver, and Evans able to get a hand on it.
Doug Evans almost had the interception. See Johnny Morton, 87, going to the corner of the end zone, and Doug Evans makes a nice attempt for the interception, but not quite.
2nd and 10. 1:01 left. The ball at the Green Bay 15. Craig has thrown for 272 yards here in the 2nd half. Craig, pump fake, rolls to the end zone, and again he was looking for Johnny Morton. Good coverage by the Packer defense.
Craig doing a nice job. He's rolling to his left as a right-hander, and that's very difficult to throw the ball when you're rolling to your left. Oh, he still put a little mustard on that ball.
I want to remind you, coming up on the NASDAQ stock market post-game report, JB and Terry along with Howie get you up to date on all the action from earlier today. 54 seconds left, and now Detroit will spend a timeout. We'll be right back. A huge 3rd and 10 from the Green Bay 15 is right around the corner. 54 seconds left. The ball at the Packer 15-yard line. A 3rd and 10 coming up.
Well, of course, they have to score a touchdown. After they score, if they score, they have to go for the two-point conversion. Then you have to look on the other side of the ball. The Green Bay Packer defense has to be exhausted. They've been on this field a lot of time this second half. And when you're rushing the passer as much as they've been rushing the passer this second half, that takes a lot out of defensive linemen.
And you see the scoring by numbers, 31-7 Detroit at halftime. At the end of the third quarter, it was 38-14. And here it is, 38-30 on a 3rd and 10 from the 15. And the whistles blow. Play is dead. A couple of flags down on the field. Yep, took him too long. Boy, that's almost inconceivable after a timeout.
It really is. That's something that I don't understand. You know, you go over the sideline, you call a timeout, you talk through what you want to do as an offense. To come back on the field and to be called for a delay of game just doesn't make sense. And getting back to my point about the Packer defense, you have to understand they played a Monday night game, and you know they come back on Sunday, so they got to be even that much more tired.
3rd down and 15. Need to get to the 5-yard line for a first down. Oh, movement by White and by a Lion. Rodney Holman makes the reception close to the 10, but again, there was early movement.
Looked like Reggie White coming across a little too early, making a little contact. David Craig smart by going through with the play. You see Reggie right here, half smile, shaking his head. As we look right here, number 92, Reggie White coming across, throwing his arms up, knowing that he came across. But then getting back to the offense, David Craig knows that he jumped offside, so he's going to go through. You never know. Might have thrown a touchdown pass, and it would have been good, but he did go through with it.
So that penalty brings it back to the original line of scrimmage, a 3rd and 10 at the Packer 15. Green Bay leading by 8. Craig steps up, flips it underhand to Sanders, and it's ruled incomplete. Sean Jones, who leads his team with 7 sacks, applied the pressure.
Well, the veteran Sean Jones, in his 11th year from Northeastern, just quietly goes about doing his job. Then when they need a big play, there he is, number 96, to make a sack on David Craig.
And they're saying it is a sack.
Well, he tried to throw it, but he was in the grass. You see Sean Jones up at the top of your screen, working against Lomas Brown, and he's been pretty quiet all game. Lomas tries to cut him, and he's effective. But as Sean Jones falls forward, David Craig tried to step up and get away from the rush, and Sean Jones is right there to make the sack.
Well, the Lions have spent their last time out. I want to remind you, today's game was produced by Roy Hamilton, directed by Billy McCoy. Studio was produced by Scott Ackerson and directed by Bob Levy. The executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. Our spotter, Terry Kane, and our statistician, Dick Bossing. Been with us each and every week and done a terrific job. All right, here we go. The number 1 defense, led by its coordinator, Fritz Shermer.
Well, they have one more chance here. 4th down and 15. The number 1 defense trying to hold this Lion offense from scoring, or at least getting the first down. They can still get a first down here. It's a long way to go.
4th down and 15. They need to get to the 5 for a first down. 4 wideouts into the game. Sanders, the lone setback. Craig looks downfield, goes to the end zone. It's broken up again by Doug Evans. So the charge has come to an end for Dave Craig and the Lions. The celebration is on in Milwaukee.
Well, Doug Evans, a nice play to break that 4th down play up in the end zone. Again, they have to be happy with the results. You see Craig looking to his right, gives a little pump, tries to go to Aubrey Matthews, but right there, not only is Doug Evans there, but also George Teague's there, and Doug Evans just about makes the interception.
Well, it looks as though Green Bay's going to win, but Anthony, you pointed out, one thing the Lions can walk away from this one, no one can question the character or the guts of this team.
Well, also, that's true. Character, a lot of fight in this team. But also they can look at this second half and say, hey, when we eliminate mistakes, we can play with anybody.
They turn it over 4 times in the first half, 5 times in the first 3 quarters, and that's why they fell so far behind. And for the Packers, a huge win because Minnesota is losing against New Orleans. Brett Favre is our Miller Lite player of the game, and why not? The numbers don't lie. He had a great first half.
Great first half and a super game. 24 of 36 for 237 yards, 3 touchdowns. And as you mentioned earlier in the game, he's cut down in interceptions, had 1 today. But as Coach Holmgren told us over the weekend, he's coming along, going in the right direction, and this adds to his progress.
So for Anthony Munoz, I'm Tom Brenneman saying so long from County Stadium in Milwaukee. Our final score, Green Bay 38, Detroit 30. Coming up next, the NASDAQ Stock Market Post-Game Report. Right after this message from your local Fox station, you've been watching Fox Sports coverage of the National Football League.